Get ready to get started, folks. Get ready now. This is going to be a good night. I had a lot of things going on this week, and we're going to really get started. And I invite those who want to come on live with us to do so. This is going to be a great night to sit and talk and have conversation in TRANSMAN space. And I'll allow us to get to know each other one-on-one, 2 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, whatever you want to do here. But we're going to really have a great conversation tonight. And hello, Aria, and hello, Michaela, and all those others that are here. Please, 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 if you want to come on live, raise your hand, send an invite to me. Let me know you want to get in discussion. This is a night where we have discussion. It's TRANSMAN space. It's our space to speak about our topics, our issues, our community within the broader community that we have. And we also want to be able to speak about who we are, the challenges we face. You hear so much about trans women that you don't hear enough about trans men. So we want to share, care, however way we may. So I want you all to please hit the share button, share this with many others out there on Facebook Live. I don't care if you send it another way, whatever way you can, but please, please, please share. I ask you to share. So remember, we invite everyone, so please share this with your friends and family. And we're going to get ready to get started. That minute's over, so we're about to go there now. All right, I love y'all, I love y'all, I love y'all. Hello, everybody, to the Real-Nez and Reality Talk Show. I am Flex Jones, your host, and many of my friends and family will be here as well. This is our brother-to-brother connection, communication, whatever you want to call it, community, whatever you want to call it. Whatever, conversation. This is where we're going to have TRANSMAN space. Now, this is our disclaimer. We invite many to take part in this space. You can learn about our transgender women, but it's time to learn more about trans men, right? Yay! Okay. In a different light, you're going to learn about us. Also, this live is to give awareness and towards shared experiences of the trans men community, members, with the right to share questions, concerns, discussion with those outside of our lives. Truth and myths will be exposed tonight. We do this every other Monday, so this is our space for twice a month. We'll not be here next Monday, but we'll be the following Monday. So I want you all to feel free to share. As a matter of fact, we're going to take 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Well, no, that 5 seconds, it'll be over by the time we do it. I want everybody to take a moment right now. Take 1 moment right now to hit the share button. And I want everybody to share this live with no more than 3 million. No less than 50. And I know everyone has at least 50 or more people on their page. So please, if you're in a group, share this in a group. Our last live with Brother to Brother went viral. It hit numbers, skyrocket. Thank you, and I applaud all those that have been on the live for being on the live, because you helped that live go viral, and you also allowed those numbers to go up, people to hear our voices, people to have questions and concerns that were addressed. Now, remember, we are on Facebook. So on this blog talk radio show that we normally have, on a radio show, we could say however, whatever, but we have to curtail ourselves because, as we know, Facebook is getting tired of lives that are serious in conversation and education. So please refrain from any vulgar language, any abusive sexual language. If you are very much disrespectful, I will block you. Everyone knows Flex don't take no jive. Okay? So we will block you and you will no longer be on the live. So I want you to be respectful and come correct. We are all adults here because after the age of 18, you are able to be on Facebook. They trust you as an adult, but I think we have some issues with that concern, but we'll leave that alone. So please share this with as many individuals you know, and also share this in as many groups that you are part of. And hopefully some of our brothers will jump on to address some stories, some myths, and apply truth to what you all desire to hear from us. So I've done my sharing. I'm done. All right. All right, we're here. If there's anyone that would like to get on the live tonight, you are welcome to. We do not, we don't, we basically don't say no because you might have a question and you want everyone to hear that question. Hello, Miss Smith. How are you doing? We want you all to get on live if you have any concerns or questions surrounding TRANSMAN community. Thank you, Wendy, for sharing the pages. And Wendy, if you'd like to get on and have any questions, concerns, remember this is TRANSMAN space. So if there's concerns, myths you want to address, truths you want to address, if there's something you want to ask, we will address it. But please be mindful of who you're speaking to, because Flicks will make sure you get blocked, or I'll just let you know you're being disrespectful. So if there's anyone would like to get on the live, please. Please, please, please. Ms. Michaela, would you like to get on the live this evening? I know you have more questions because we always ask questions amongst us. Aria, I know Deborah's there. I know Wendy's there. Tayona, I hope I pronounced your name, Tayona Smith is there. So I know you all have questions, so please feel free to address them and bring them forward. All right? So I'm going to address something, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to start with this because I think I need to make this clear. Not all trans men derive from being lesbians. Many of us were straight men who were married to men. Well, we were female body married to men. So not all of us derive from being homosexual or lesbian. Okay? So let me just get that straight out. Let me get that straight out because that's a myth. Not everybody is gay that is transgender. That's a myth. Cut the neck off on that one. Okay? Michaela, we're going to bring you on. Jules is here. I know Jules going to have something to say later. So we're going to let Jules come on too. We're going to go ahead and do that. Michaela, I sent it and it's. I hope my volume is up on here and you all can hear me just fine. Danny, hello, darling.
Hey, brother. How are you doing
How are
today?
you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, I don't know where you was at, but this is what I want to bring, and this is a trans issue. This isn't necessarily a trans man issue, but this is just a trans issue in general. So everybody can, have their opinion. Um, Over this current weekend, I'm going to a funeral. Right, I'm going to a funeral around a part of my family who I'm really not that close with. Like, I know these people, I talk to them on a regular basis, but I'm just not that close with. So right now, I'm preparing myself for the misgendering, for the dead names, for the all that other good stuff that's going to come from me dealing with this funeral. And as a trans person, trans man, do you guys get it as bad when you go to family functions? Or how do you guys handle going to family functions? Do your family respect your transition? Because for me, even if they treat me like a woman, they still may call me by my first name. And sometimes it's kind of hard. So,
Well,
right.
from my experience and some that I know of experiences, some of our family has not yet addressed, they have yet not learned pronouns. Now, that was in my day. Now, parents now might be a little bit different. They're willing to bend because as knowledge is bending, but coming from a minority family on my mother's side, they, and from the South, they have yet to be able to address the verbiage correctly, and I've had to practice that with them. But in the beginning, it was always a dead name being used, as well as uh, my gender being pronounced wrong. Um, and any event I went to that was a family event, I'm gonna be honest with you, if it was a funeral, I I bogarted up in the front entrance and didn't care with a suit on. But sometimes if it was a member that I wasn't close to, um, I usually sat in the middle of the church or the proceedings or at the back of the building because I just didn't feel like being looked at awkward by family members. I think what's happened with me, because my experience was as I evolved, my family had no choice but to evolve with me. And if you're uncomfortable with misgendering or worried about them misgendering you, um, that might be a discussion you need to have prior to with several of your members who are very cordial with you.
I think the issue with me with this particular, everybody have parts of their family that they're really not that close to. So, you know, hell, I don't even know if half of these people know that I'm even in transition. Like, so this is my far off side of my family, like my biological side of my family. It's one of my biological fathers, one of my siblings from my biological father's side. So I really don't deal with them on an everyday basis. So that's the only reason why I'm so like in my feelings about this. It might be better though, because sometimes when you don't deal with people that you used to seeing every day, sometimes they get it easier than the people that grew.
Well, not only do they get it easier, but they don't know what. A lot of times they won't know what to say, so they just shut up and stare at you. And
Yeah.
see, I was the family member that I'm gonna say it. I didn't give a hoot to doo doo or nothing about how they felt about me as a transition because my attitude with my family here in the South was, you haven't helped me with a damn thing, so don't say nothing to me because you're gonna get it wrong. And as time proceeded, I let them know at family outings. Several would come up to me and ask, "So how do I address you? What name do you go by now?" And that was respectful. I think it took time for me not to be in the arenas of the family and have them ask questions. And I had to teach my mother that when they ask, you need to tell them they need to contact me. Let them learn to come to
Mm.
me. They may not know what to say or do. We just a hypothetical. I'm just give you an example. We just had a family reunion this year, and I didn't get an invite at all. Now, was I hurt? Yes, I was, because I like free food and I was going for the food. So So I didn't get to go. And my mother called and said, "Did you get the information?" I said, "No." And she even had a discussion with me. And I said, "I just don't like them. They're bougie." She said, "You know what? They are bougie. And you know what? I wouldn't worry about it because the next year I'll be handling the family reunion, not your cousins. I'll be handling the family reunion and I will make sure that you're there." Because I told her it's not
Mhm.
fair that I can't be asked to come. I went to a funeral, I went to a wedding, and they all were very awkward toward me, very cold. But it's okay because I think for me, my experience as a trans person, if I'm in your face, you don't have no choice but to accept what you see. And over the years, they have to look at me and say, "This is what it is." They may never understand it, may never understand it. I told one cousin at a wedding, right after the funeral was a week before, "Look, just love me for me. I'm still the clown. I still tell jokes. I sat at the table while we were eating, telling jokes, and they realized I hadn't changed a bit, except for my exterior." So some of them are still uncomfortable, but they don't have a choice. And I've made it clear, if you can accept a lesbian cousin who's married to a Caucasian lesbian, you need to accept me for who I am too.
Mm. I just think for me, a lot of times, certain families they can accept gay, right? In their mind, that's the limit of their understanding is, oh, okay, this person is gay, or okay, this person is this, and this, and I don't like being forced into gay. I don't like to be forced into, ooh, girl, what's the tea, girl? Like, I hate when people come to me and then they start asking me about beauty questions and how I got hair the way you don't ask
But
other.
you know, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're amazed at the fact that when you're not biologically born that gender, when you're born female, you know what I'm saying? When you're transgender, I think they're amazed at what we can do as people to be who we are. Because I had a cousin ask me because they knew I did drag before all this grew in. And she looked at me and she said, "Can I touch it?" I said, "Touch what, girl?" And I started laughing. I said, "No, you can't touch." She said, "No, no, your facial hair." I said, oh yeah, you can touch it. And she touched it and she said, so how does that, she was asking me at the table, so how does it grow in? I said, just like you have your menstrual cycle, that's estrogen. I don't have that. I have testosterone. And we got to talking and talking. And she said, you know what? I still love you as my cousin. So it took this one younger cousin to say, I still love you. But then again, this was a cousin. This is the saddest part. This was a cousin that had an open mind and was a new generation.
But see, I don't like, and this is me again, everybody in there. This may be offensive to some people, but we're having an open conversation. So I don't like when people come up to me and say, I still love you. Like I did something for your love to be given or taken away from me. Like I don't like that expression. I don't
I,
like
I
terminology.
don't I don't like that either, but I understand why they say it. That's the only thing they know to say is that's their way of saying I that's their way of saying my religion does not call for that, but despite that I do love you. That's their way of saying they yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that's their way of saying they accept us, but they'll never say that. And I
I
told
would
my
rather
mother
them
about that.
say, I accept you.
That's their fake way of acceptance. We
I would
can't
rather,
change that.
but see, I don't agree with you, Flex. I don't think it's acceptance at all. I don't think love is acceptance. Like you can say that you love me all you want to. You can say that you want to be there for me, but your love isn't acceptance. Your love isn't approval. Your love isn't validation, right? So when people say I still love you anyways, that's such an empty, meaningless thing to me, and it's almost offensive when people say that to me. Like I get very upset. Like I've told my one like older uncle when he told me, when he found out I was trans or whatever, and we talked about it, he was like, "Well, I still love you," and I'm like, "What did I do to make your love for me, be taken away?" Like I don't understand why this is something like if you can love somebody who's been to jail for killing people and for doing all this other stuff, why is it my personal choice where I'm not harming anybody? A debate of whether your
Well,
love is
but let me not to cut you off, but let's be real. The Bible teaches people that if people are living in sin, they must walk away. That's a way of not loving. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot is, and we're not going to get into that tonight because it's just real deep. I
Mhm.
think a lot has to do with biblical, and people have a way of using that to say I'm not in favor of, but you are family and I can't walk away. They don't know how to say it. I'm gonna be honest. People don't know what to say to us. They really don't. They really don't. And if they've been conditioned and raised a certain way, they don't know what to say. That's like a child that only knows his alphabet but don't know how to use the words.
I
I'm just
understand.
being honest with you.
I
So
understand that, but
we as a community have got to find avenues that are going to be comfortable for us when we're in these arenas and use them at best because everybody's circumstances are always going to be different. I'm just one of those in your face individuals. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm just one of those in your face individuals. I'll show up at a funeral for the food. I'll show up at a wedding for the food. I'll show up for anything for the food. And if family's there, they're just gonna have to deal with my presence because I'm not going to shy down or die down because of their unacceptance of who I am as a trans person. I can't do that. That's me. That's me inside of me. I'm not going to do that. You know, I have the right to be there as well. I'm blood. We are family, and I have the
mhm.
right to be present. So my mindset as a person that's transgendered and a trans man is I I'm going to be there, despite what. And I've learned to actually ignore the shade. I get the shade. You think trans women are shady? My cousins are very shady. Especially the women. They just as shady as can be and cold as can be. And I've learned to basically ignore them to the point where they can feel they freeze. I end up freezing them instead of them making me cold because I let them know.
Exactly.
I let them know. And I'll call it out. Well, you didn't speak to me, but that's okay. Next time I see you, you will definitely be speaking. I mean,
And
I'm so worse than they are. My mother giggles in the corner. She'll turn around. She said, "There you go again." She'll tell me, "Don't come drunk," because I'll come drunk. And when I get drunk,
See,
I tell it.
and
I
that's
just
where.
thought I just thought about writing a letter to the whole. See, I got everybody's emails now, and
Hmm.
I thought about doing this for many years, but I finally decided, no, you know what? I'm going to write a little letter to the family. I got everybody's emails and drop it like it's hot, and they can take it for what it's worth because at this time I'm tired. And I think when we get older in our transition and we grow, we get tired. And some things we'll tolerate, some things we won't tolerate. So we as trans individuals have to find out where we're comfortable within ourselves in these arenas. Where I
Exactly, and I also think just like with the N word for people of African American or slave descents, right? I feel like a lot of the time the N word is used as a bullet, right? As to end the conversation, I can't, so I'm gonna call you the N word to end this, to make you upset, to change the whole. I think a lot of times that's what our families do to us too. We're calling us by, our birth names or misgendering us or asking her certain questions or do that whole "I still love you anyways" bullshit where they're trying to throw us off track. They're trying to stop us cold in our tracks and leave us defensive. That's why I told you in a text message earlier today that I'm really mentally preparing myself for this funeral because I can't allow that. Like I've been in those spaces so long that when people say certain things to me, it just stop me and I'm just shutting down and I'm not able to speak up or to defend myself the way that I will want to. So that's why I
right.
have to prepare myself. So when I do hear those dicks, I'm like, no, my name is this. Call me this. Is she like this, that, and the third? Don't ask me them kind of questions. And I just feel like for me with my family, sometimes people look at it as me being like bitchy or defensive because I'm just not accepting the bullshit they're trying to send to me. And sometimes it's hard because I'm not that type of person. I'm not very open and friendly like that. Like I just don't want you to ask me what's between my legs. I don't give a fuck. Why do you care? Like if we're family, first of all, I'm not gonna have sex with you regardless. We are family. So why does it matter what's in between my legs? Why does it matter? Like just accept what I'm presenting to you right now. Like why does it matter? And it just really bothers me that in families people can Uncle Joe could be around here molesting all the kids and nobody ain't got nothing to say to Uncle Joe on that. 14-year-old Becky Sue got 3 kids and ain't nobody got nothing to say to Becky Sue. But for me, it just always somebody always feels that they have the
I know.
right to
Yeah,
a
and
safe.
that's something that I mean, I know I can tell you now when I hug a cousin, I feel the coldness. And I do it on purpose. I walk up and say, "Hey, cuz," and I give them one of them hugs that you ain't ever had before. And I
Mm-hmm,
know they like, "Oh my God," you know. And
mm-hmm,
I do it every time. So you got to remember, I had a funeral one week, and that same cousin's mother passed away one week, and he was getting married the following week. So I knew I'm gonna squeeze the hell out of everybody. That's what I did. Hey cuz, and I know they was like, I can't take it. I just can't take it. So for me, I actually stepped into the lion's den because my feeling is I can get it over with now. For me, I can
mm-hmm.
get it over with now and know that I did my best and I don't have to do any more. For a long time, my mother said, "You don't stay in touch with family. That's family." I said, "You know what? Let me tell you about your family. They can eat, they can eat boo boo and dog doo doo for me because I'm not feeling your family." So after this year of the family reunion, it hurt my mother to know that they didn't send me any information. They had all my emails, all my 3,000 emails. Some of them are on my Facebook, my private Facebook page. Nobody sent me anything. And nobody gave me a phone call. I shared it at the funeral. I shared it at the wedding. Nobody communicated with me. So, in my mother's mind, she was very disappointed and upset that family has shunned me when she thought it was me shunning family. So,
Exactly.
basically, we as individuals in life, period, we have to find where we're comfortable to be in an arena that's very, very uncomfortable for us, and make it work for you. Sometimes we being for. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I have a gay cousin that passed away 2 years, 3 years ago, and he was so forward with his gayness. I feel like, well, if he can be so forward with his gayness, I'm gonna be very forward with my trans manness. I'm gonna be so transgender they're gonna eat this up like they ate him up. And I felt like fair is fair. And now, we got a cousin now that's married, and she's in everybody's life and got, I'm like, well, if that's fair, it's fair. I'm no different than anyone else in this family. We got a criminal in the family. Fair is fair. We got an alcoholic who's a drug addict. Fair is fair. I'm just being honest with you. If you can have them in your presence, you're going to have me in yours too.
And I guess for me, it always was okay. If I feel rejected, I'm gonna reject you harder than you can reject me. Like my uncle was at. I live with my brother in Tampa, right? My uncle was at our house a couple of weeks ago, right? Uncle, I don't know if he know my transition or what the case is, right? So the first time he saw me, he didn't say nothing. He didn't say hello. He just walked right past me like he didn't know who I was, right? So for the rest of the day while he was at the house, I just walked past him like I didn't know who the fuck he was. Like I knew who he was. I knew who my auntie was, but I just walked past him like, fuck y'all. Like y'all not gonna treat me any kind of way, right? So then they went back to my other uncle who knows my transition or whatever. And they was like, is that such and such? And then my other uncle came to me and was like, such and such one. And I'm like, well, why didn't he say something to me when he first walked into the house? Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to make you feel comfortable with me, right? Like this is my
No, you
space.
shouldn't. You shouldn't. If you spoke and you said, and my thing is, if you done your part, it's like if you feed a. There's an old saying: you can't take the horse to the. What is it? You can't. Well, you can take the horse to the lake or
You
to the
can lead the
water,
horse
but
to water, but you
right,
can't force
you
the
can
horse
you
to
can
drink.
make him drink. You done did your part. And if they don't want to drink, let them dry. Let them go ahead and choke on dryness. Let them dehydrate if they want to. That's how I feel. So from me to you, for the situation that you're talking about, you need to allow yourself to be comfortable wherever you are in this arena. However you're going to be comfortable in this arena. You are who you are. You go wear your black or white dress, whatever you got to wear for this funeral, and you sit
Mm-hmm.
there just as prim and proper as you may be and be very cordial. But make sure you get a plate because they feed family after the funeral. Sit down and get you a meal, baby, because you belong there as a family member. You belong to give your respect to a loved one that you no longer have on this earth. So you have that right to be there. You are blood, you are family. And if they give you a hard time, you tell them, Daddy Flex said, sit your ass down. And they can call me and we can have a discussion on that too. So I want you to do what I say. Be comfortable without conflict. Don't go in there for a conflict and don't go in there being uncomfortable, but go in being as comfortable as you can be for you without any conflict for yourself or those that are present in your space.
Okay, and let me ask you this question on the same subject. Hi, everybody, for joining. Please like and share. We're trying to get this little topic to go viral because this is an important. Like, I don't know. I've never heard a trans man really speak on this issue. This is why I'm bringing it up. But when it comes to being with your family and dealing with your family, hi, Ashley, it's hard because I don't know if trans men get it as bad. Like my next question to you is another thing I'm preparing myself for is when I come to family events and I talk to a man who may be a part of the family or maybe a third or fourth cousin who I haven't seen in several years and I don't really know who they are, right? I get this collective, I call it the whisper cloud, right? Everybody start to whisper, right? Everybody like
Right,
this.
right, right.
Then they trying to
I,
figure out.
I will say this to you. I have cousins that I mean, we don't smoke some herb. We don't got in trouble together. We party together. And I find those cousins that are comfortable in my presence to sit around. Those are the ones I find, because I find there are cousins, female cousins, cisgender cousins that are uncomfortable in my presence. And I always say, give them their female space. I'm a dude. I don't need to be in their space. So I give them their female space. But if there's a male cousin, and I've always been cool with the male cousins all my life anyway, there's a male cousin and I'm cool with, we're going to sit, chit, chat, talk, laugh,
I'm
big
so
on
glad you said that, Flex, because this is how it
right,
always happened for me, right? So I'm a smoker. Everybody knows I smoke. I'm TS 420 all day, all night, right? So when I go into a cut, especially when I feel like closing, I like to go outside and find a space and roll up and smoke, right? And every time I do that, inevitably, somebody always come out and be like, "Oh, you smoking?" And then that just right there starts the crowd of people to come around. And then I don't know if it's because
right,
they're high or whatever, but that's the moment then people want to start asking me a million and one questions, right? And then people don't understand, right? Because normally when I'm around people I don't know, I'm kind of shy, I'm kind of quiet, but until you get to know me, you don't know that that's not my real personality. That's just I'm getting to know you. I don't know who you are, so I'm quiet and
right.
trying to figure you out, right? So because I'm shy and quiet, people take that as an opportunity to ask me all kind of bullshit. So then when my reaction comes in, people are like, "Oh no, I didn't mean." Well, yes, you did mean for this reaction to happen because you wouldn't have asked me what's going on between my legs. Who randomly
Right.
goes on to ask somebody what's going on in between their legs? Like I,
Well, here's the thing. I am the kind of person when it comes to family members, I will cut them off. And I will say, you know what? You stepped over the line. I don't ask you your personal business. I don't ask you how you got 5 kids. I know how you got them, but I don't ask what position you did it in. So as your cousin or your family member, we won't discuss that. That's something we don't discuss. I'm your family member. Respect my space. Like I respect you enough not to be in your groove, in your business and everything else. Respect my space. Respect me as your family member. You have to let your family, the one thing I've learned, you have to let those that are in your family, the practice makes perfect when you talk to your family members like you would talk to someone in the street. And
mm,
once you practice that skill, it's easier for you to talk to others because family is the hardest ones. They're the hardest ones for trans men and trans women to deal with. Okay? If you can get over that hump with your family, you can deal with society like it's
oh god,
nothing
yeah.
to it. Nothing to it. If
I
you
do.
can get over your family's issues and dealing with their BS, your strong shell on your back, like a turtle, like I talk about, will be so strong that when society comes your way, it's like pouring water out of a spigot. So simple. So simple. It'll just come out without being rude or being shady. It'll come out just as natural and confident. And people are like, well, damn, I respect him or her for how they spoke. Today, I spoke to a therapist about some things for an organization, and he was in awe with the conversation. And he said, you know, but your 40 years of being who you are has allowed you to be confident. And I said, you're sure right about that because I have had to learn to do that in order to give you what you need now in conversation. So we have got to practice, 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 and family are the hardest to even do anything with. So if you can practice with your family and don't force yourself, don't force your transition on your family. I tell everybody, do not force your transition on your family, but allow yourself to educate yourself with your family and them to educate themselves with you. And believe it or not, in time, family will be your number one advocate. It took 40 something years to be where I am with my mother, and now she's the best advocate. She still doesn't understand, she still doesn't agree, but my mother is my number one advocate because she first loved me when she birthed me, and will always, a mother's love is always there. But our love we had for each other was so much tangled up that we couldn't even have a conversation. So now we're getting to that point of conversating. We're getting to that point of her understanding my transition was not rebellion towards her as my mother. My transition was my growth for me, not for my mother. So we went through
Mm.
some changes. So as family begins to realize you're not fighting them, you're really fighting the internal of yourself to be who you need to be comfortably without conflict. And if you start using certain words, like comfortable without conflict, uncomfortable conflict. Things like that are basic language wording because a lot of our verbiage in our community is just as confusing to us It's confusing to the stress community. I'm just going to stress community. I'm just telling you that. So we need to learn verbiage that's more adaptable. Do we have to do that? No. But I would rather do that. So when I do that, I don't look stupid with confusion behind it. So I'm asking everyone that if you have family issues, slowly work with it. Give them time because they're the people that have known you from the time you were birthed to the time you transition. And they're trying to adjust to it. It's something new. And some of us that, and I said this earlier before I started the live, some of us who transition have had homosexual relationships. So naturally, people look at it like, okay, you acted like a sissy, now you a girl. You want to be a girl, now you a girl. You acted look like a bull dagger, or a boy, and you called yourself a stud. Now you're a man. That's expected of how this happens. But we need to let them see that's not how this evolves. This is not how we evolve. So we have to let them understand it's not about any of that.
And also, my only piece of advice, what I'm learning, is to try to separate gayness from who I am, because if you dwell in that gay space, a lot of the times that's where people are comfortable with leaving you at, right? So no matter what you do, no matter how you present yourself, if you dwell in that gay space, people are going to try to leave you there, and people are going to always try to assume that that's the easiest way for them to understand your differences, is to put you in that gay box, and that's something that I
Right,
cannot stand,
right,
is to be left in that gay. And it's so bad to, I had to basically eliminate a lot of my gay friends out of my life because they weren't helping, they weren't defending me, they weren't explaining the difference. They was always telling me, "Oh, you really a man anyway," so did it. And I had
right.
to.
And let me say this. My mother for a long time was calling me bisexual, and I said, I'm not bisexual. She said, well, what are you? You was gay when I said no. I never told you I was a lesbian. Mom, I've been married 3 times. Well, you're bisexual. No, I'm not bisexual. And I had explained to her there was a difference between sexuality and gender. And she said, okay, I got that, but you was bisexual. I'm not bisexual. So after we had a long discussion, she learned about pansexuality. She had me laughing. Now you all gonna laugh. She said, that's just a word. You were just a man whore now. That's all. You just a man whore. That's what that is. So that's her way of translating what pansexuality is. But now my mother is learning through me as she's getting older. She's learning that things aren't like they used to be. And people get older, what they've been conditioned with, they learn, they've been conditioned. And technology is beginning to open the doors for some of us. I think a lot of our families are stuck with what society has said, what biblical has said, and they can't see past that. And then some of our family members can look in the fact of science has revealed. So I'm just going to say this. We as individuals just have to be able to step in an arena where we're comfortable and make it comfortable for ourselves. Don't force that on yourself because it's just you and 20 other people. Because if you show up at a family gathering and you try to force yourself upon others, believe it or not, they will shout at you at the door and shun you at the door and make you feel just as worse than who you were. So I say, walk in tippy toe, be cute, be handsome, whoever you shall be out here. Walk in tippy toeing, and the next thing you know, I walked in. I walked in. I didn't boast. I didn't walk in bold, but I walked in because my feeling is I have a place here, and if my place is family, I'm going to be here. And as we started gathering, the more and more um, the acceptance is happening slowly. Some haven't seen me in years, and then they see me, and it's like, oh, Toledo, he really changed.
Hmm.
I don't have no hair on my head anymore. It's the whole thing now. So I think as time is evolving, they're learning to realize I'm getting older and things are changing. And when any of us go to a family gathering, we just have to go in comfortable, be comfortable with yourself first. If you have to meditate beforehand, drink a drink, but don't show out. Walk in a way that they know we are not the stereotype, the stereotypical image of what trans folk are or the things we do. When we walk in giving them the stereotype, that is where the disrespect will always be connected to us. So I think, and I'll say this, even LGBT, when you have gay men walk in their butch queen sissified, hey girl, the whole thing around family, the whole idea is a stereotypical idea of what gay men are like. What do they do? But if you walk in being yourself and being proud and being the woman that you are, like I am the man I am, and the respectful man, because the idea of a man or woman in any circle that you walk into is respectability.
Yes. Do you think with family, I know you have your own experiences with your family, but in general, do you think trans men get it a little bit easier? Because I don't know, it just seems like when it comes to trans men, people just, I'm not gonna say they get it, but they seem to, is less of a conflict than when it comes to a trans woman. For a trans woman, it seems to be some kind of, like, I did something to you personally for wanting to transition and to live my life, honestly.
Um, Honestly, as a trans man, I think it's a 50-50 for trans men and trans women. It depends on your family. It depends on those that you're surrounded with. It depends on how open minded your family is. But for a lot of us, we do deal with that like the trans women do. So a lot of us are shunned. A lot of us are out here making it on our own because we don't have family to turn to. We're not like some of the trans women where a lot of trans women are still at home and transitioning. And a lot of us don't have that opportunity. We just don't have that opportunity. So a lot of us are really pushing to be the go-getters because we have no one but ourselves to survive on. And we can walk in an arena without facial hair and change our bald head or whatever and be looked at as stud, but that's not where we are. We're not studs. So we don't want to be identified as studs because that's not where we're comfortable. I'm not comfortable in an arena of women. If I was homeless today and I had hair on my head and I shaved and I looked like a stud, I would not be comfortable in an arena of women because
Mm-hmm.
that's not for me. And I don't think you would be comfortable in an arena of men
No,
as a woman.
no.
So,
Hi,
I
Josh.
I would say when it comes to 100 trans people, 50 trans women and 50 trans men, it varies on who we are, where we come from, and the families we derive from. I really think a lot of that has to do with families. There's some families that are very opening and very supportive to their trans child, and then it's nothing to it for them to have that. But then when it comes to a lot of us, and I'm going to say this, I think, and I'm going to say this, when it comes to people of color, trans people of color, especially trans men, we are the invisible men of America. We are the invisible men of America because we get into transition and we start to evolve, and as we evolve, we blend in. But here's the thing: we blend in not to be so not part of the. We don't want to blend in to be part of societal norm. But what it is that we're pushed into that norm because as we blend in the woodwork, we're out here struggling, trying to make ways for us to pay our bills, do what we need to do, and we have to do what we have to do because a lot of times when you have something, you would hate, you would hate to I'm going to say, because I told this on another show, sometimes for me, for example, I had a really good paying job. I would
Mm-hmm.
hate to have lost that job. It was giving me bread and butter because I knew being a trans man, I was not going to go in a man's shelter at the time of. I was
Mm-hmm.
not going there. Having no top surgery, I was not going in there. There was no way. And I knew that I had to keep myself out of trouble because being by face value, I am male, and my paperwork says male, but I didn't have top surgery. So
Mm.
I was feared of being found with man boobs
Mm.
for 40 something years until last 2 years. So you have to understand the fear I had as a man of color. What if I get stopped by the police and I got man boobs? Am I going to look at as a little fat man that lost weight? Or am I look like as a freak? Am I going to look like as an it? Are they going to put me in the women's? And sometimes the women are worse in some jails than they are in the men's jails. I'll even say as a trans man, I was like, well, they put me in the men's jail. I'm going to be somebody's bitch. I'm just going to say it like it is. I was going
Mm.
to because I felt like, somebody, I'm going to have me a daddy and I'm going to be good to go for a while. But the whole thing is fear. We fear like the sisters fear. The sisters fear of murder. We fear of stereotype.
Mm. I feel you on that. I really
We
like
fear of stereotype because so many of us have been harassed coming out of stores or minding our business. And we also fear of rape and murder.
Well, I think that's something that we have in common because a lot of trans women fear is being raped. To change the subject a little bit, did you hear about the girl in Detroit who was at the gas station and a gentleman approached her because he thought she was beautiful, right? And she told him, I'm sorry, that she was trans, and then he ended up shooting her. Now the police did arrest him, and he's in jail, and she survived the shooting. But at this point, I'm just like, as a transgender woman, what are you supposed to do? Society always say, be honest, tell your tea, tell your tea. But then when you do tell your business, then you put in immediate danger after that. So it's like it's a non-winning situation.
Right. It's a do or don't. Because I could be around a whole bunch of men, and what if some man is cool with me and I've been in the shower and everything else with this man, and then he finds out I'm trans, he could try to rape me or place harm to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I said something to my mom for the they have a family reunion every 2 years. And I told her that 2 years ago, I said, stop misgendering me and stop calling me by my dead name because if I go into the men's restroom and one of you all do that to me in a public space and I get beat up, you know how your family's going to react? They're going to say, well, she should have never been in the bathroom. I can't
Exactly.
go in a woman's bathroom. So we fear a lot because we, we don't know what might happen in that men's room. I don't go to gay bars. I don't fit in there. I don't fit in gay bars because the girls don't want me and the boys want me, but I don't want a boy right now. So it's just I don't fit in. I don't fit in gay bars. But I fear to go to a gay bar because what if I'm in there and someone knows I'm trans and some big boys decide they're gonna push up on me?
Mm.
Because naturally I would have to use the men's bathroom
Yes,
in a gay bar.
that's true.
So I will say this: we just have to be we just have to really be live comfortable without conflict in our lives. And when it comes to family gatherings, we really have to. We can bogart in without being bogarting.
I agree.
So, but we're gonna get some more callers on here, and I thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Flex. I'm gonna
right,
share. I'm gonna
right,
spread the
right.
word.
I love you. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Torian. We're gonna get you on. And I think there's a few other you all that you're on. There we go. All right, Torian, we got you here. Mr. TW.
Hi.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hi. What's going on, Cutie?
How have you been? How was that wedding of yours?
It was good. It was okay. It was good.
Okay.
I saw everybody that I wanted to see. So how you been?
I'm been busy. We've got this live going. It's a trans man space. If you have any questions or want to talk about something surrounding trans men, hit some of the truths and the myths. That's what we're here for
I
today.
think people, if whether they don't understand, they ignorant to it. So, well, I can't speak for other gay guys. I only can speak for myself. If you go into the bar and if I know you a trans man, I'm still gonna treat you as a man. I'm not gonna treat you no different or nothing. And that's what society has to learn about the trans man's. It's just like the trans woman. We accept the woman in our club. Why not the trans man?
I think the thing with us when we go to a gay bar is we know that sometimes some gay men push up on each other, and that's what we fear is going in the restroom and being pushed up on. Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, cause see, I've hung up. I mean, I hang out. I'm a leather man, so I hang out in other bars, and I've seen guys follow up each other in the bars and be doing some dirty, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, here they go again, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
because you are less.
I've learned
I,
this. I think, excuse me. Yeah, but I'll go into a men's bar, and well, yeah, that's what the leather. I'm used to it, but I mean, some guys, some trans men aren't. They might go in a men's arena and not even expect this, and they might be frightened to go in the men's room, frightened that a man, might to try to have sex with them.
yeah, but lucky that's not you.
Yeah, no, no. So, but yeah, is there anything you want to add to the topic or anything like that?
Yes, I would like to add to the topic that it's 2018. Us as black gay men and stuff, we have to stop with all the stereotypes. Stop with the that's a trans. If they're a guy, they're a guy. They're a woman, they're a woman. Because at the
Uh,
end of the day, where else? If we as gay men don't accept y'all coming to the clubs, then who gonna accept y'all?
right, right,
You know, I know they say first the acceptance to me, the acceptance starts at home, but some people it's different. That's why some people come out to the gay scene to find their way, to find a way to be brave enough to go home to now. Hey, I'm a trans.
hmm
Just like you say, if you the guy stopped by the police and they had titties, that would have been funny because the cop would have been like, "Oh, this is a short man that
right,
lost lost weight, or or this is a woman."
right.
Or they probably just would look at you as a black man with man boobs. That's all.
Yeah, but my man boobs were big, so I don't know.
What it was.
I had some big man boobs. They was a little 36 something cc or whatever they called them, but they was
Oh,
36. And I was like, oh Jesus. So they were fat boy boobs. I
oh,
call them my fat boy boobs. And that was the thing is if I put on anything, I mean it was very devastating for me when I went to a beach and I was like, okay, I'm going to the beach, I'm getting in the pool, and this woman saw me and her child said, Mom, what is that? The child said, what is that? And the mother said, "Oh, that's somebody from the circus." I was
oh,
insulted. Yeah, I was insulted. So ever since then, I stopped going in public swimming pools, and that's what people don't understand. As a trans man, there's some things that we enjoy doing that we can't do publicly because of the restraints of a binder. Certain appearances we have to switch up to be in an arena.
oh. So he said, "What is that?" And the mama said, "Somebody at the circus."
Right. That was
You
before my surgery.
you good?
That was before my surgery. But now I go to the swimming pool and, there's no thought about it, no question about it. I'm just saying. I go to the gym, I'll take a shower, throw my shirt on, throw my shirt off. I'm free. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
This is where I wanted to be in my life. Scars or no scars, I'm comfortable.
That's good, Wow. And for as a parent should have set more example than that.
Right.
Because suppose somebody would have told her, if he's out of the circus, you must be out of the zoo with that little monkey child of yours.
Right. Right. So it's a lot of things that we have to confront. I mean, the girls have to worry about their appearance when they go out in public. We have to worry about that as well because a lot of trans men are not small breasted. They are big breasted. So sometimes they can't pack. They can't bind like some of the small breasted guys can. And so it's harder for them to um it's harder for them to even be to live comfortable without conflict because you can still see that they have some kind of chest because they're big breasted. So it's harder for them as well. And that's another reason why people disrespect them and they'll call them a stud to this day because they feel like, well, he still got his titties, so that's how he got his titties, so that's he ain't no man. And that's how they come across to some of us. And people who knew me were like, well, you had top surgery. I didn't have top surgery. They're like, well, damn, I swear you was real muscular. I said, because I wore a binder. And some of us are teaching each other how to wear these binders, how to wear your pants, how to do certain cuts, how to wear your hair. Girls don't, when we are female body, we really don't know how to dress or look like a man. We just know how to imitate the image of a man, like women, like trans women in the beginning, they are imitating the image of a woman, but they have to be taught the correct way of doing. And many of our trans women have taught each other how to do what they need to do
Yeah,
to
because they
not
got
get caught.
and then some of them, they got to work on their voice. They got to train their voice to talk a certain way.
Right. Right. So a lot of trans men may not speak around certain circles because they might have a high squeaky voice still. Me, my voice is raspy. I have a raspy voice. It's not low and it's not high, it's just raspy. And to
Yeah,
be honest with you,
it's right.
I
Your
was
voice is right.
right. I was really concerned about my voice. And then one day I said, the hell with it. You're going to get what you get. Michael Jackson got a high squeaky voice. So
Oh, I
what's the
see.
difference?
Wait, raise your face up. I see you cut it.
It's my summer look. This is my summer look. It's hot outside. It's my summer look. So for
so
us as trans
so
men,
you
there's
have
a
to cut
lot
your
that we
flavor
have to
saver,
go
huh?
through. Yeah, it's a little crazy out there. Now I
I
know
like.
somebody else wanted to get on the live, so we're gonna let them get on the live as well, Torin. And I appreciate you. Give me a call late tonight or tomorrow sometime.
Look, I just got on this live. I just got on this live.
I know you did,
I
but we've
ain't
got a
seen you.
lot of people waiting in line.
I ain't heard and seen you for a minute now. So I'm sorry. Whoever wanted to get on the live, hold your horses. Hold your horses. I know Flex is a beautiful man now there. Everybody trying to talk to him. But he's occupied. He's been occupied. Oh, it's funny, huh? That made me snatch that nose ring out.
All right, Torin. I love you, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, so anyone would like to come on the live, feel free. This is TransMan Space. We invite you to take part in this space. You can learn about it in a different light. Feel free to ask questions. truths and myths will be addressed. And remember, this live is to give awareness toward the shared experiences of trans men community. We invite our trans men to come on as well to have conversation so you all can hear this. So please press the share button. Press the share button. Share with your family, your friends, whomever you may share with. Please share it. We were touching on some subjects, how to deal with family. And, like I said, my experience is not going to be the same as any other trans man experience because I come from a generation of when my transition began, we didn't even have the information. We didn't have the knowledge. We didn't even know what medicines were available. And if they were very costly. We didn't even have insurances. We didn't even have doctors to do top surgery for trans men or even bottom surgery for trans men. We evolved after the girls because not many were visible and not many of the assets were there for us. So for the trans men community, we've evolved to a better place now. It's 2018, but I remember when I began, I didn't see many trans men of color or Caucasian persuasion or Oriental or anything of the sort. I didn't know of any. So I was not exposed to trans men, but I was exposed to trans women. So I knew many trans women. And some trans men back in my day were doing whatever the trans women suggest they do. Because they were suggesting them to go get steroids or take bodybuilder steroids. And yeah, they were doing that, but it was damaging their bodies. And it was creating not that dude. I'm just saying. It created muscle more than anything and not that dude. So we evolve differently at different times in our lives. And not every trans man is going to have his top surgery immediately. Not every top trans man is going to get his medicines immediately. Not every trans man is medicated to transition, just like some trans women cannot take medications to transition. So some of us evolved very androgynous, which means we look very, very more masculine. And some of us don't. If I'll post later a picture of me in my female day, because if you all saw that picture, you would tell me that was not me or that was a cousin or someone of a sort. I only weighed no more than 98 pounds soaking wet. And now as a man today at 56, I'm 149. So that's all muscle. And my doctor has explained to me with my transition that I need to be stress-free because I'm a walking orangutan. That 49 pounds is muscle. That didn't include my little belly. That was muscle. So I have to contain my stress and my anger, if there's any ever out there, to make sure I don't hurt anyone. And I had to learn how to deal with the strength that I carried in my body because there was so much strength I had that I didn't even know existed. I would grab someone's hands and shake it, and they were like, "Wow, that hurt." And I was like, "Why does it hurt?" Because I was small and I was frail, and that was something I didn't have a problem with back in my day. I wasn't hurting anyone, but now as a man, I am stronger in my hands. Um, I can feel the strength in certain parts of my body that's very different. My face evolved from the little skinny guy I was. My neck got thick. I was no longer in a boy's small shirt. I'm now in a men's large shirt. Um, I've really evolved. We evolve differently, but our bodies actually just mold themselves. Our body molds itself. Now, that's the medicine that does that. Um, and I'm going to be right now talking about those that are living within the binary because we cannot, if we're not on the medicines, our bodies will not evolve. If you're non-binary, you're not doing the T or whatever, or the estrogen or whatever, your body's not going to evolve strongly within the binary. It's going to be non-binary. So for a lot of us that are um, living within the binary, we understood what the medicines were going to do to our bodies. We understood the evolution. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to have facial hair. I wasn't expecting to just bald shave my head because I had some good, sexy hair on my head. I had an afro and everything, but I shaved it. And as I shaved it, the follicles just died with it. And I was like, well, I try to let it grow back, but I look like George Jefferson, and that is not the way to go. So for me personally, I um I just evolved with my transition. And I evolved for me, I evolved peacefully. I wasn't rushing it. Not every trans man, like I said, is going to evolve at the same time. There's no set day, no set year, no set time slot of when a trans man has bottom or top surgery. There's no set day or time slot when a trans man is going to have his medicines. But I will say this as a trans man, I will say this, that we all in the transgender community need to continually see a therapist, because as we evolve, we're dealing with changes in our lives, and changes in our lives can be very devastating. You know, it's just like Michaela was saying earlier, she's going to a family funeral. What if she leaves that funeral feeling depressed or she's feeling lost? She'll need that therapy to have someone to have conversation with regarding that matter. You know, we deal with so much, and it's very stressful, very stressful. As a trans man on testosterone, I found that I had to change my diet because the medicines that were taking, the testosterone, can cause heart attack, high blood sugar, diabetes, liver shutdown, and a lot more. If you're shooting the testosterone in your leg, you have to be careful we don't hit a vein, because if you start hitting blood vessels, you can start causing conflict in your body. Just letting you know. There's a lot we have to be careful of. The girls take the pills, we take the shots. There's some trans women that take the shots. As we get thicker as men, you know, I used to be skinny, used to be able to turn around and look at my butt. But now, as I've gotten thicker and muscular, I can't turn around and look at my butt. I can't do the shots like I used to do. So I've had to find another area to do that in my body. So um, we really evolve differently, and everybody's preferences are where they're comfortable at. You know, I started going to the women's room for a long time until it was confirmed by society that I was a guy going into the bathroom. And it took one of my gay male friends to say, "You need to start using the women's. You stop using the women's room because they're gonna put you in jail." And I said, "Okay, fine." So that confirmed for me I need to start using the men's room because I was very, very much male. Um, you know, I learned a lot from my straight male friends, because I have a lot of straight male friends, cisgendered males who are heterosexual, and they taught me some things about men that I was astonished. I mean, you know, people ask me, do I use do they have pills? You know, someone said there is. I've never used pills. There's a gel, there's shots, there's gels. Some people are using herbal because they can't use the testosterone. For many of us, we are on the shots and we're on the gel or the patch. I've never heard of the pills. I, you know, some of us buy what they call testosterone enhancers, and that helps us with our testosterone level. But you know, I never heard about the pills. I've asked about the pills, but they might have pills, but I've never heard of pills. When I started, we didn't even have pills. So I don't know if there's pills. As far as I know, there's none. But if I'm incorrect and someone's here on the live or sees this live, please correct me if there are pills. I never knew there were any, never heard of any, so I don't know. You know, I'm at a point in my life where, you know, I only know of the shots and I only know of the gel and the patch. So that's all that I know at this present time. Um, you know, it's just like some people have estrogen blockers, some have testosterone blockers. So it depends on who we are in our transition. But as we get older, we don't really need the blockers. I think it's when it's the youth, the younger youth before they hit puberty, they're trying to give them that. They're trying to give them that. So, anyone else have questions? Anyone want to get on live? Anyone want to talk? We have a good few hours to go with that. Um, Miss Hicks, you want to get on the live? Let's talk about that, Laisha. Let's get on the live and talk. Let's talk. Because you're asking me questions about what is a good testosterone enhancer. Um, um, let's get you on live. Let's put you on a live. I know you don't want to, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, you decline. Okay, well, as far as a good I've never heard of a testosterone enhancer. You know what's a good testosterone? Healthy meals, and exercise. Plenty of water to flush out your liver. Plenty of water to flush out your system. The testosterone is very strong medicine. So is the estrogen, but that testosterone goes right into the system, into your muscles, into your blood system, fast as you know it. It is very fast. And what it does, it goes into the body, it will evolve. Your body will evolve faster than you expect. Some people have gotten facial hair in 3 months. Some, a lot of it is genetics. Some people got facial hair in a year. I got facial hair in my first 2 months because I have it's in the genetics of my family to be very, we have a lot of hair. Um, my shots have varied differently. Um, because as I'm getting older, my testosterone level was higher when I began my transition. And some trans women are the same way. Their estrogen level is so high that they don't need as much estrogen in their body. So they had to balance me out. Um, so for me now at my age, my testosterone shots, they're very much, they've been spread out because I'm where I am now. And if I take too much too much testosterone, it can turn it into a negative estrogen, which can be harmful to the body. And also I tell everyone that's transgender, um, male or female, trans man or trans woman, you need to exercise to allow that medicine to circulate in your body evenly so that you get the results you need in your body. Um, I will also say that don't rush your transition. It is not a it is not a quick, it's not jiffy quick corn pop, it's not jiffy quick cornbread that you just put in the oven and boom, there you got your cornbread. It's a process. It's a very timingly process. And you may not look like someone else. You may not evolve like someone that you've met because we all evolve differently. And you have to remember that your journey is not my journey and my journey is not your journey. But what I can do is assist you with information to help enhance the journey and be comfortable in your journey as you travel. So I will say this. Can you close that after you leave it? I will say this, that as a trans man, my journey was different because I started 40 years ago. And a trans man today, his journey might be different because he's starting in 2018, where the medicines are very much more available. The doctors, there's more doctors there. There's more therapists there. There's more surgeons there. There's many more out there. Much more support, much more information, and I think that's where we need to understand that. As a trans man, getting jobs, and I'm going to say this to you, I'm not as really privileged as a man of color, but I have more advanced privilege as a man than I did as a woman of color. But let me say this. It sounds like a twist here. As a woman of color, when I was female bodied, I had certain privileges that I could do without concern. I could walk at night. I could do what I want to do. I could smile. I could stand next to someone in an elevator with a pocketbook. I could stand in a circle of people. People were respectful to me. People would talk to me. And it was just living life. That's probably why I talk too much now, because I was talking a lot when I was female body. But as a man in society, my paycheck is always going to be larger. And I know that because I remember I worked for one company and I was getting paid this, and I went to another company as the man I am today. And guess what? I got paid more money. They gave me better benefits. Even asked if I had a family. Didn't know I was trans. And I said, well, I don't have a family, but I have a living mate. Well, are you intend to get married? And I got more money than I thought. I was like, why? It's just the way that's the way they try to take care of men. I'm just gonna tell y'all. And it was really odd. I was like, wow, it took all this for me to get a better income. So, I personally have found that my evolution to be the man I am today is who I am. Now, I tell anyone that is transgendered and also trans men, do not try to imitate. You can't be Uncle Joe or your dad because they are different men with different mindsets. But be the best man you can be for yourself. Because once you do that, you're an asset to society as a man in society. I don't focus on my transition as the man I am today. I'm just me. I'm flex and I live my life. And the word trans man is cute, nice, and dandy, but I use the word man because I'm man. I'm gendered man, legally gendered male. I'm legally male by documentation by way of transgender experience. That's how I explain it. That's a lot to say, but when someone says, "Well, are you trans man?" No, I'm a man. I always say I'm a man because I am a man. I live my life every day as what is identified as how a man lives their life every day. I get up every morning, go to the bathroom, find something to eat. I don't crack a beer. I don't drink beer, so I don't do that. I go to my job. I do what I got to do. I live my life every day. People interact with me as gendered male because at face value, this is what they see. They don't see me who I was at birth for several years later to my youth. They don't see that person. They see me. So I will say to many of you right now, if you can share this, if you're still here watching, just know that we as trans men, we are the invisible men. We evolve, we kind of blend into the woodwork, and we live our lives in order to survive. And we live our lives comfortable without conflict. Because when you're living your life uncomfortable with conflict, that means that, and I'll try to explain it every time I say this, it means that you're adding adjectives and stress, such as stress, headache, and all that stuff to your journey that doesn't need it to be added. Now, when you're beginning your journey in the beginning, it's going to be hard, but I'll tell any trans man, if you don't fit the image of what society says is male, and you look like a stud or lesbian, use the bathroom in the women's room. Don't add conflict where there's no need. Use it being comfortable without conflict. Okay? When you get to that point, like I did, and I was able to evolve into the men's restroom, that's what I did. Because if I go into the women's room, many of you all know, they're going to drag me out and say there's a man in the women's bathroom. They're going to take me to jail as a man of color and call me a pervert and whoever else are going to call me. And then I'm going to be like, no, no, no. I'm beating the pavement. So I'm like, no, 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 no. And they look at my paperwork and it says male. They're not even looking at genitals. They're looking at paperwork. They're looking at what they see face value. So I will say to anyone that's transitioning to always, whatever you do, do it comfortable without conflict. You know, someone brought up an issue about that person that was in Maryland or DC and went to eat, and it was a trans woman, and we all know, I don't know what her name was, and it was a whole uproar. I'm going to say this. If I was her, honestly, I understand her feelings where she felt she belonged to go to. But if I was her, I would have used, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to use a woman's restroom. I probably would have went to the men's room if I was her. Because in my mindset, she was presenting herself uncomfortable with conflict. She added the conflict in an uncomfortable manner for herself and for the person that was uncomfortable with her. And that's how I feel. So that's just my take on that, and that's how I feel. Is there anyone else that wants to chime in, take part in conversation? Jocelyn, I'm going to try to get you in as well. If I can get you in, you can accept it, or you might have to sign out and sign back in if you can't accept the invitation.
Hey,
Hello, how are you doing?
good. How about you?
I'm doing fabulous. Doing fabulous.
It's hot out here.
Yeah, it's hot here in North Carolina as well.
I just heard what you said about the lady that was using the restroom, and I've had a lot of people ask me about that. They're like, Jocelyn, what do you think about that? Well, something. She's not the prettiest. I'm not even gonna go to sit and say she's passable, but if she would have went into the men's restroom, she might would have got her ass whooped.
Well, I
So
don't know.
therefore,
Knowing the establishment that she went to, I don't think that would have been an issue.
Okay, well, see, that would have
Yeah,
been my biggest fear,
yeah, and I don't think that would have been an issue. I think the issue is that she went to the women's room, and it was very uncomfortable, probably for someone who had seen it. She went in comfortable. She went in uncomfortable with conflict because
Yeah,
honestly, for me, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to say this, and y'all might hate me for saying this. If I was in a woman's room and I was female body, I would have been uncomfortable with her coming in the bathroom.
well, I understand that. Well, I mean, but me, when I go to the bathroom, I'm going to just do my business and get out.
Well,
So
here's the thing with that.
I'm not really.
But Jocelyn, there's a difference between you and her. She was appearing uncomfortable, which would add conflict. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I do.
And because
Yes,
of
sir.
that, that's where the conflict came about.
And I feel that I look shiny, so I'm having to clean myself up. But I feel that she could have went somewhere else and pissed. I mean, truly. I mean, I've had to hold mine.
But I'm not going to stay on that subject. But what I'm going to say is this: that situation is a prime example for some of my trans men. When I say to them, I need you to go to the restroom where you're comfortable, without conflict.
Right. Go where you're comfortable. And like me, I'm gonna tell you this. Someone took a picture and I loved it, Flex. I absolutely loved it. They took a picture of this tranny woman, and I call her a tranny because that's what she said she was. She said, I'm a tranny. And she was in there with all these men, and she said, now, is this what you want me? You want me to be around your husband to do my business?
Yeah, and see, we've done that during the bathroom laws. A lot of us took bathroom pictures like that because we're trying to prove a point. And that's the thing, is that we've proved the point. And when a trans man is sitting in the men's room like me, and I go in the women's room, that's so much out of place. It's so much out
Oh
of place.
yeah.
Because you have to remember, we have to remember as individuals in this world that people go by what they see, not by what they know. The
That's true.
first thing the human
That's so
eye
true.
does is go by what it sees, not by what it knows, not by what it's aware. It goes by what it sees. So that's why I say, as a trans man, I use the terms, I live comfortable without conflict, which means what you see adds no conflict to me and no conflict to anyone else looking at me. But if I'm living
I almost
uncomfortable,
from you too.
if
I
I'm
almost
living uncomfortable, I'm going to add conflict to myself and conflict to those that are looking at me by face value. It's the same term, it's the same analogy of passing and non passing, but I don't like to use the word passing or non passing. I don't like the word
and
passable.
I understand that, but you know, as trans women, that's how
Right.
we're
But
different than
but
trans men.
as
That's what
trans
we say.
and this is where, and I'm not picking on my trans women, this is where we as trans men, I think we tend to be a little more Webster minded.
Y'all
We
are.
tend to be a,
I think us girls are more meaner than you
no, no,
boys.
not
I
me.
think
No,
us
you're getting
girls.
it wrong. I think we're a little bit more involved with wording than our trans women are. Not all. Now I'm saying this because somebody might get mad. Not all, and not all trans men, but I think a lot of us are. We try to use our words a little bit more effective.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And you know, I've all people because you know me. I'm bad at words and stuff anyway. Like I say whatever, but um, I just feel this. I'm like Dolly Parton said. If I got to go, I got to go. I got to go. And there's been times when I was a little boy and the men's restroom was full, and my dad would say, "Go in there with your mama," and I would go in there with my
But
mama, and
that
my
was
mama would.
different. That was different because you have to understand you were a boy, a little boy. But as a grown individual, we do have the right to go where we need to go to the restroom. But I will say, when you go to the restroom, you need to decipher where you're going, if it's going to add conflict, and if you're going to be uncomfortable and the other person's going to be comfortable. You have to figure out if it's going to be uncomfortable with conflict or comfortable without conflict. I'm not staying on the bathroom thing anymore longer either because this topic's
Yeah,
about
that's
trans
true.
men.
You're right
It's
about
about
that. You have
trans
to just
men and
go.
trans man space. We're not talking politics. We're not talking bathroom. We're not talking about trans women. This is a trans man space. So, like I'm telling everyone that's watching this is the time for you all to come in and debate and talk
Hey
about truth
Amber.
and
Hey Wesley.
myths and all those
Hey
things that are
y'all.
exposed. We want people to understand this is a
How come it
trans
wouldn't
man
let me
space.
share your live? I tried to share your live, but now that
I
I'm
have
on your
nothing to
live,
do
I
with
have
that.
all kinds of these people
I have
popping up.
nothing.
That's my
I have
friends. I know.
nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with what Facebook is doing. I'm doing
Uh,
my live, and this is what it is. So remember, folks, as you're watching this is
uh,
brother to brother conversation. The disclaimer: we invite many to take part in this space, but this is Trans Man Space. We are here to talk about trans women. We love y'all, but this time to learn more about trans men in general in a different light. And
well, I want to ask you something as a trans man. I know that you like to be healthy and stuff like that, and you had said something about that you've gained more, I guess, more muscle mass now as
muscle.
a trans man than you was like, because you said you was like 98 pounds or something
Yeah.
back then. Um, when you started gaining that muscle mass and was looking at yourself in the mirror, was you like, wow, this is me? Like, wow, this
I
is
I actually I'm gonna make you laugh. I was not about wow, this is me. I was more or less about okay, this is what my body's going through, and I need to take care of my body. And whatever happens with the evolution, that's the result of my body. I did not have a goal to be muscle bound. I had a goal to be healthy. because I had already been informed of some of the health issues of taking testosterone, especially, you know, a lot of, we didn't have the doctors to test us and do that. So we had to worry about our own health
Did
first.
trans women that take estrogen, one of the biggest things is a cancer. Is that the same for a trans man?
Yes, because
Is cancer?
yes, as I said earlier, at another event, that okay, let me explain this to you. Binding your breast can be very devastating. We have to still have a mammogram, so we have top surgery, and after top surgery, we need to have a mammogram every 2 years as well. Okay, and from the mammogram, we need to also have because we still have our vaginal area. I will admit that some of us still have that. We still need to have our pap smears, get your stuff checked and all that. We still need to check, like I always say, you still have to take care of the whole. You still have to take care of your body. You still have to make sure you have the right intake, outtake.
Now, can I ask you this personal question? Do you get nervous when you go to the OBGYN? Like, does that make you feel weird?
And this is what I'm going to say. As a trans man, let me explain this to you. I know my body has to be taken care of. I am not nervous. I am not shamed, because here's my thing. I know what body I was born with. I can't change that as I evolve. But what I can do is change any negative results that can affect my intake of testosterone or my transition or my wellness. So for me, I'm not ashamed of my body. My transition was not a body dysphoria. My transition was accepting the difference about who I was and acknowledging it was not a sexual dysphoria.
I respect that, Flex, and I like that.
Everyone's journey is different. People said, well, I didn't like my body. Baby, let me tell you, when I was female body, I was sexy thin, and I thought I was banging, and I was walking around like I was the shit scuff, okay? As I became the man I am today, I began to walk around like I'm the shit scuff too. I accept my body for what it is. And to this day, I take care of it like a shrine, because I'm the baddest brother you'll find on this side of my town. That's all I got to say.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Right. And you are handsome.
So I personally took care of my body, because this is my body. This is my shrine. This is what's going to allow all of that I'm working on being the man I need to be present, visible, and to be who I am as a man today.
Yeah. Well, you've come out to be a wonderful man and an activist. You try to help folks out, and you try to be good to the people, and you try to educate people. And you don't. One thing I've learned from you is you don't get mad at people that are uneducated. If they really don't know about the lifestyle, they'll say the ridiculous things to you, because I've heard it, I've seen it, but you know, this is what we got to figure out, and this is and teach them on that. And I appreciate that. That's why I love to sit and watch you, and I admire you. I think you're a very good person. I think people can learn a lot from you.
Well,
but I really want. Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, we're about to say.
Oh, I was wanting. I think her name is Ari Lee Amon. I don't know if I said that right. If I didn't say that right,
I don't know if she wants to get on live. If she does, just let me know, Aria, if you want to come on. Marcia, Natria, Trickley wants to come on. Ashley, if you want to come on. Anyone else that wants to come on, remember this is TRANSMAN Space. If you all want to talk about topics that are based around trans men, We know about the girls. We done heard all the stories we can about girls in the past 3 years. Let's learn about the guys. Learn
But
more.
we don't ever hear about the men.
Right.
So
We're
listen,
invisible.
Flex, when you walk down the street, like say you come to visit me. Now you know I'm gonna be in like a two-piece, and we're going to the beach. I'm gonna be in a bikini or a one-piece or something. You're pulling that shirt off and wearing your swimming trunks and jumping straight in that water, swimming.
Right. And the thing with that too
Yeah.
is, I'm gonna be honest with you, is they will look at us first from afar as a interracial couple. But then, honestly, this is what's happened with me. People have mistaken me for being cisgendered and have mistaken me for being a
tranny chaser.
yeah.
Being a tranny chaser. Oh, and see, I love it. I love that. That right there is awesome. Because I wonder if he's a trans man. He does porn. His name is Buck Angel. Me and you spoke about him. Does he go through the same shit that you go through?
A lot of times it depends on the trans man, how vocal he is, how he is with people, how they interact with him. And I could not speak for Buck because he's not here, but our journeys are different. He may have, he may not. But you have to remember a lot of the Caucasian, and I'm going to go here, y'all ready now. A lot of our
No,
Caucasian persuasion with privilege, white boys that are trans men have privilege and actually walk past the minorities in this community that are transgender. And like they could hang out with us in the beginning of their transition, and then before we know it, they disappear. They disappear because they have now got that white man privilege in their back pocket. And if they don't like me saying this, somebody might try to boot me. I don't care. It is the truth. It is the truth. Because
I just had
trans
someone
women that are Caucasian persuasion with privilege will tell you that they have privilege before trans women of color have privilege by just walking in a room being white. Right or wrong?
I had somebody tell me this the other day. They said, well, you had white boy privilege. Why didn't you keep that instead of want to transition? And I said, well, let me think on it. Because, I was won't cuss his ass out. But I said, let me think on this for a second. And I got to thinking, I have more privilege as a woman than I ever did as a boy. I have more privilege as a woman. And when I say that, I mean, when I go into a bar, when I dance and stuff, they buy my drinks. When I was a gay boy, it didn't really happen, or not considered a gay boy, like like a femme boy. And so I just feel that, to me, I guess that people say that white man is supposed to be the most powerful, being the white privilege
Well,
thing, but
I mean, no,
I
it's not
just
that. It's not that. We have to remember that how did this America be created? And just leave it at that. We're gonna get off of that whole politics side. I told you this is trans man space.
Yeah.
Let's not go there right now. I'm just saying that we, as trans men, men of color, we're still dealing with the stereotype. My mom had made a comment to me a year ago, and she said, several years ago, she said, I
Mr.
worry
Flex,
about
how
you.
old is your mama? Will you tell us how old your
No,
mom is?
I will not disclose that. This
Oh,
is
okay,
not about my
okay.
mother right now. I'm not trying to be rude, but my
No,
mom,
because she just reminds me of somebody like my grandma that
yeah,
grew up back then, that they didn't hear about stuff like that. And I've asked you
right.
that before.
Well,
They
right.
said that they
My
didn't
mom, I
see
mean, you
those.
got to mind, my mom, I am her child. I'm 56, so you can imagine how old my mother is. And my brother's 64, so just
Oh,
take it
okay.
from there. My
Oh,
mom
okay, yeah.
has made it clear to me she didn't understand why would I transition to be a man of color at this day and age of what's going on with black men. And I had to explain to her that my transition had nothing to do with me being a man of color. My transition had a lot to do with me and my transition. What I needed for me, I needed to live. My transition was killing me. To not transition would have killed me. you all have no idea the death, the suicide adventures that I have tried,
Don't do that, Flex. Don't do
okay,
that. We
that I
need
have
you.
tried in life. So that's why I'm saying when she made that comment, she began to realize, and then she made the comment, she said, so either way, and she wasn't being rude, but she was being true. She said, either way, this is suicide for you. I said, there you go. I said, being a man of color, I could be dead tomorrow. Being transgender, I could have been dead yesterday. And she said, yeah.
Did
She
you
said,
understand
but
though that you didn't do this like to hurt her? You done this for you.
right,
You
yeah, I
started
said that
living your
earlier. Yeah, I said that earlier. My mom
life.
understood that. So my mom also said, okay, I understand this. So if you're happy and you're here now, I have to accept your happiness. When I had my top surgery
Amen.
in 2016, she said, now you've had that done, how do you feel? When I said these words, I feel at peace, she said, I have nothing else to say to you.
Wow. Amen. Amen.
So
Amen.
to say
That
that,
summed it up right there
let
for
her realize she has, and I'm going to give you all a secret. My mom said something to me the other day. She said, you don't call me like you used to. I said, because now where I'm at in my life, I don't need to call you for little things like that.
You're busy.
We're not busy. There was a time where I needed to call and say, I need help to pay a bill, or I need help this and that. I need help doing this and that. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I had roommates, housemates, female housemates that were codependents because they saw me as a man and that I was going to take care of them. And I was not, I said, I'm not taking care of you. You grown like I'm grown. Pay your bills. So it would put me in a rut. But now that I'm a single bachelor, as she calls it, my mom calls that too, she's now beginning to see my child is responsible on their own.
For his stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Responsible
now,
for you.
and this is the thing I want to tell you all. A lot of times our parents are looking at how we evolved as people in the world, not our transition, not our sexuality, not our gender, but as people in the world. Many of us have done some jacked up crap. And if it
That's
looks like
right.
we're repeating the pattern, we lose the respect from our parents. It's not our transition. It's not our sexuality. It's how you handle your business during your traveling, your journey in life. And if your business is sloppy and messy, they're just so worried because you're not doing what you need to do as a grown up, as an individual growing up in this world. But when you start changing things in your life, and I say this to trans men and trans women, when you start changing things in your life, I say this to gay children too. When you start changing things in their life and becoming more responsible for your life and showing the irresponsibility of yourself, it's not going to go away, but slowly dissolving at the wayside, your parents and family
Amen.
tend to turn around and think, oh, well, damn, they stopped doing that crazy stuff. So, okay, we should be all right now. And I think that's what
Amen.
happened with myself.
You know something, Flex? You got a son that lives with you.
Yes.
And the other day I woke up, my mother had called me and she said, I want to do something for you. And I said, what do you want to do for me? And she said, I'm going to mail you some money. I'm a Western Union it to you. And I said, Mom, I don't need no money.
Right.
And she goes, listen, it makes me feel good to know that I can bless you and help you because you don't ever call me and ask me for nothing. I want to give something to you.
Right.
And so she did that. And I pondered on it for a couple of days and I thought, wonder why she done that. And she told me out of her mouth, I want to feel like I can bless you and help you. Is that wrong of me to accept the blessing? Was that wrong of me?
I bet you years ago, she would be like, God, here we go again. You're always coming to me for something. Okay? Now you're that responsible adult that she raised, and she wants to bless you. My own sibling for a long time, I stopped calling him and said, look, I need this. I would call him because, you know, my father's deceased. So my brother steps in now as my brother father. And I would call him and he would send me money or, you know, wire me money. And so the best thing about it is he had asked me one time to go to dinner with my mother. And I said, well, here's my situation. I don't have any gas and I don't have any money. I got my bills to pay first. And the first thing he said was, well, you got gas to get 30 miles out? I said, yeah. He said, well, get here for dinner and I'll give you the gas money. Well, when I walked over to his car, he gave me $40. I didn't ask him for anything. I just told him I just don't have the gas money. If he gave me $10, I would have been fine with that. But I explained to him that I don't even want to ask you for money because so many times I've gone to you all to help me. And I'm at a point in my life where I don't need that, but if I don't need to ask for money, I won't. And if I can't make it to dinner, I have to do it another time. And he was really adamant that I come. And so I went and I talked to him and he said, it's not a problem. This is not a problem. I'm proud to see you, my sibling, because we call each other sibling. We don't call each other brother. We don't call each other sister, brother. No, we call each other sibling.
Your sibling.
Well, we're trying to get the pronouns comfortable for him because as a trans man with a brother, it is hard for him to say my brother. He's known me as his sibling, which was a girl. So, you know, he told me, he said, I can't be around people calling you my brother. That's so odd for me. And he was really honest about it. But I would want you all to hear this right now. He said to me more than once in the past 4 months, hey, dude, what are you doing? And when I call him, he and I start talking. And he'll say, well, yeah, I told mom that I'm sorry. He was like, I'm sorry. I said, no, you got it. At least you're putting effort into the pronouns. Then he said,
Trying to learn.
Try to learn, he's doing it. Because what happened was,
amen.
Right. What happened was he and I had a talk and I said, look, I'm doing the best I can by working with you. You working against me. We got to work together. I just need you just to do the small stuff. And so now what he's doing is he's using the pronouns like it's water out of a bucket.
Amen.
And he's learning that I'm still the sibling. And I honestly would say this as a trans man that's responsible and older. I think as we get older and more mature, they see the maturity side of us than the other side of us, the party animal, the social life, and all that. They become to see who we are as mature individuals and responsible individuals. A lot of people think of being gay and transgendered as some form of irresponsibility, no knowing who you are, no knowing where you're going, anything of a sort. So as they see us evolving with responsibility and being responsible for our own well-being 100%, then we gain the respect from others, even our family, especially at that point. So,
and Flick, I'm gonna be honest with you because I have a lot of people that say this. You don't look the age that you say you are. Like, you just don't. Like, we think that you a 40-year-old black man. We don't see. I don't know how to say your name, Marcia. Forgive me, but yeah, we don't. A lot of us don't see you as 56-year-old man. You got to forgive us sometimes, you know, because you've seen it and been around and done it all, and I'm just now 30, so it's kind of like, you know, you got years on me, but you don't look it, and I love that. And there's so many trends that really look at you, and especially the girls that look at you and they know that you're not a girl, but they want to be as humble as you are, and try to have your mentality, if that makes sense to you.
well, I'll say this to you, And I'll say this to anyone watching, as a person that I am today, I had to learn to humble myself. And when I transitioned as a man, I had to take some of the parts of me that were feminine, negative feminine actions. It's like I said, when I transitioned, and y'all heard this more than once, I had to ask myself, what image of a man would I desire to be for me and society? You know what I said? Me first, then society. Because whatever I was for me, it would reflect back to society. So I thought of it and I said, this is the image I need to be for me, for society to see. So I got rid of some of the feminine qualities that just were negative, and they were just personal characteristics that were negative. And some of my feminine qualities, I just brought them right on over. You know, I didn't tell myself that as a man, I shouldn't be in the kitchen. As a man, I need a woman to clean my house. As a man, I need a woman to wash my clothes. As a man, my mother domesticated my brother and myself. We were domesticated by family. The men in our family cooked. They washed clothes. They knew how to sew. I don't know how to sew, sorry, y'all, but my brother does. And so, I mean, I know how to work on a car naturally. It's just something that happened for me. I just got up in the car and started fixing it. People said, that fool knows how to, I mean, I was fixing cars at the age 17. That was a hustle. That was one of my hustles. I was changing oil at 17 years old for a hustle. Spark plugs and yeah, I was doing some stuff back in the day. Yes, I was. I was hustling. I went to Sears Robot.
Putting gas in the car.
Look, I went to Sears Robot and bought my first set of Craftsman tools, and I was changing oil and spark plugs. I was giving people little spark. I was doing my hustle back in my day. That was my first hustle. Legal piece of paper hustle. I was doing stuff at the age of 17 to survive, and I found out I knew how to change oil, tires. I was changing brakes. Mufflers break on them cars back in the day. I put a muffler on the car. Y'all have no idea what I did, but see, it was not that it was about doing it as a man or woman. That was an instinct of this man as a boy. I was a boy back in the day and didn't even know I was a boy. I was trying to figure out, is this a sexual thing? So I got married because society said so. I fit in well because society said so. Got married 3 times. But each time I felt like I was having sex with men. I was a man having sex. I felt gay and I felt dirty. And I felt like, oh my God, I shouldn't do this. But then when I had sex with women, I was like, oh, the flowers are going to bloom in the backyard. We're having a great old day. And I could not understand what the problem was. And I said, well, maybe it's just because I'm gay. But then I started fighting my gay side on the lesbian side. I call it my girl side with the girl side because I wasn't a lesbian. And I tried to figure it out, but I was still attracted to men, having sex with men. Then I started dating trans women. Yes, I'm from Jersey. I did some dirt. I had a girlfriend back in the day, Maria, but it was Mario. But anyway, and I like trans women. So I was dating trans women, cross-dressers, studs. I was dating drag kings. And like my mother said earlier, I said in the show earlier, my mother said, what is pansexual? And I told her, she said I was a man whore. So I was a man whore. Fixing cars. So I was actually a boy growing up to be the man I am today. But I didn't know that. And like I told everybody, I did not have body dysphoria. I had gender dysphoria. That's why when they took away the term gender identity disorder, I was imbalanced. My gender was so out of whack. I didn't know what the heck was going on. You put a dress on me, I was like, that ain't working.
We need our minds to match how our bodies feel. On either side of transsexual, male to female, female to male, we need our minds have to match to how we feel.
So for me, my transition was the evolution of the man I am today. And I'm glad that I experienced motherhood.
You come out to be a good old damn man. You became Damn it, motherfucker! Listen, they so many hoes on your dick, and they so many hoes that be sitting over here be like, damn. And then when you say I'm 56, you know what I want to do? I want to jump through the phone and just, but I know you can beat my ass. But I want to tell you, you don't look that age, and don't be ashamed of your age, because
Oh
when I get
no,
your
oh
age,
no. You know, I'm
I
proud of my
just
age.
like
I'm proud.
that.
I'm really
I,
proud. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my struggles.
yeah,
I am proud of how I become the man I am today. And like I tell everybody, I share me with the world, because if I don't share me, you know, what I was given in my life was free. Life for me was free. I didn't have to pay to come out. My mother paid the bill. I didn't have to pay the bill to be dropped out of her
amen.
home. You know, my mom had me. She had to pay the doctor bill. I didn't have to pay it. You know.
Flex, this is my thing too. When you was speaking to Michaela earlier, and you was talking about going to family functions, can I tell you something? They were having, my mama's people was having a family reunion. I was gonna fly to North Carolina to I was going to fly to Charlotte Douglas Airport, and then I was gonna go to Asheville. My mom
Asheville.
was
Yeah.
gonna come pick me up, and I was gonna go to Asheville. Asheville, you know, the mountains.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna go to, yeah, I was gonna go up to the with them, and and what you said made me just, I don't really know how to explain it. If I'm covered up and I'm in a dress, like I'm covered now. I mean, you see, there's breasts there. I
Right.
can't take these down or nothing like that. I was gonna wear a nice dress and go on in there. But Flex, when you said that too, you said go over there and get you a plate. Flex, she wasn't playing. Go get a plate.
I mean, I'm going to
Do
say
you
this,
just?
and I say this all the time. And I told my mother when she said, "Well, did you get the information for the family reunion?" I said, "No, they didn't send me nothing." I said, "Well, Mom, that's one plate I'm just going to have to do without this." She laughed on the phone. She said, "Yeah." She said, "Because you don't miss a meal. You don't miss a meal."
No,
She said, "You
I
may not."
don't. Me neither.
She said, "You may not. You may not." She said, "You may not eat meat like most people do, but you will eat sweets and food and stuff you ain't supposed to eat, but you eat it anyway." She said, "You won't miss a meal." She said, "The one thing I know about you is if we said we're having Christmas dinner, no matter how uncomfortable you are with this family, because I always ask who's going to be there. Because if I'm uncomfortable with a family member, I don't want to be there. So I told her, I said, you know, whoever it is going to be there, I'll be there, but let them know I'm coming for a plate. And I always seem to come when everybody's there. I think it's my grand entrance because I don't want to be there when they get there because they might say, well, look, I can't stay and leave. So I kind of get there when I know they're about to eat. It's always every year I do that. And I think that's the good Lord doing that to me. So that way they sitting there happy butts down at the table. They got to do the prayer and they got to look at me while they're eating because they got to deal with me. The last Christmas gathering we had at my mother's house, my uncle,
I love it.
my uncle was like, well, yeah, this was good. I got to go. He was ready to go. Why? Because he was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable.
My question to you, Flex, and these other people watch it. Did you get your plate? Did you get your plate?
Baby, I had my mother's got these to go containers that she leaves in the in the pantry. And me and my brother wait till they
I
leave, and
see.
we took all this food home. We have food galore. Yeah, I ain't kidding with you. I got me a plate to eat, and then I got me two to go containers to take home. Yeah, I got, and don't think I won't do that going
Amen.
to the church. Look, when the church be like, "Do y'all want a plate?" I'll take a plate.
Amen. Amen. And
So
well, I didn't go to my family's, my mama's reunion because, but you know what was so funny was my mama said they just kept asking about you and about you out in California and all this, and and when you said that, it just reminded me of that, and I said, well, you know, Mama, I'm not gonna sit over here and be uncomfortable in front of any old body, but I ain't gonna sit and make nobody feel uncomfortable in front of me. I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna make me a plate, and I know what family members clean, and I know what family member ain't clean, because I know what I'm gonna eat, what I ain't gonna eat. If that person cooked it and I know they ain't clean, they got cats and shit running on the counters. I'm
Well,
not eating
let me
out of
say
there.
this. Let me say this. Let me say this. My mom does a lot of the cooking, and when she cooks, she makes sure she makes our favorite dishes. So when my
Oh
mom
yeah,
cooks, I'll say to her, "Do you need me to bring something?" She's like, "No, I think I've gotten it all." And usually, what we do is my brother and I'll send her some food or like some money to get food, even if she doesn't want the
yeah,
money. I give it to her because I know she's gonna make my favorite
yeah.
dish. So I love the fact that, I mean, like I tell everybody earlier, my mother's coming around, my family's coming around, but it takes a process. And being the trans man
It
I am,
takes
I'm
so
not
much
trying to be,
time. It
I'm
takes
not,
a lot. It don't happen overnight. Flex, it don't happen overnight. No, it
no, and
don't.
I'm gonna be honest with everyone right now that's watching this. When we transition, we can't push our family. You can't be boastful. You can't be pushy for people to accept what you're doing because a lot of times people don't understand. So if they don't understand, they're not going to accept. And no, I'm not saying that you got to bow down to them, but you're going to have to walk in, be yourself and be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable with who you are and walk in and know that's your family. You know, if that's your family, look, that's your family. So they're going to have to take you anyway, anyhow, however way, what direction. That is your family. And no matter how they feel
Right?
about you, because I'm one to tell you straight out, you gonna geek in the corner. See, I'm one of those cousins that will say, "Come here for a second. Come here, cuz I want to talk to you." Yeah, what's up? Don't do that shit again, cause I fuck you up.
I fuck your ass up. Don't be making
Right.
fun of
See,
me,
and I'm one of them cousins. Now,
motherfucker.
let me tell y'all a secret. See, I know everybody's dirt, and I got one cousin that she a little bougie, but she was in jail. Okay, and if she's watching this, I hate it for her, and I'm telling it. So, and if she's watching, I'm gonna let her know this right now. Bougie, okay? She's bougie, and always trying to act like she's somebody special. But baby, you went to jail. I didn't even go to jail for 6 years for embezzling out of a. Come on, girl. Don't go there. I didn't look. I went to jail for 24 hours for a bad ticket. I didn't go to jail for no crazy criminal stuff. Come on now, get right or get left. Don't try to be bougie with me, because you are definitely nothing of perfect. Nothing of perfect. And you probably got a girlfriend in
I
jail,
tell
but you
my
ain't
mama,
telling nobody.
Flex, that's why I think I really like you because my mama's family is just like your mama's family. My daddy's family, a lot of them are dead and gone. And my grandma has dementia. She's 77. And when she talks to me, she just thinks the world of me, tells me I'm her favorite. But when you go to my mama's side, there's 9 of us grandkids, and there's 7 great grandkids. And so they my well, they're nice to me and stuff, but then a lot of times they feel uncomfortable about me being around places. And I tell them, I don't give a fuck what y'all motherfuckers feel like.
Right,
Y'all kiss my
right,
motherfucking ass.
right.
I
Well,
didn't. Y'all
well,
asked me to come over here. I didn't ask to come.
right.
That's why I don't
Well,
come to North
well,
Carolina.
Jocelyn, I appreciate you for chiming in. We got some other folks that want to chime in,
Yeah,
and
I
I
love you.
love you,
Let them
sweetie, for
on. I
coming
love you.
through. And just keep trying to share this if you can.
I love
People,
you.
please hit the share button. Remember, this is the live feed here. I'll talk to you later, Jocelyn, baby.
Bye.
This is the live feed here. This is the Realist Reality Talk Show. This is the Trans Man Space, brother to brother conversation. This gives you all. You have learned a lot about our trans sisters, the trans women of our color, of our community. But it's time for you to learn more about the invisible man, the trans men of the community. I want to be able to address the myths and the truths and the reality of who we are as a community and get to know us, because a lot of you all don't know much about us. I can only address what I know of my experience, and of my experience as a trans man. So feel free to ask me questions. Anything you want to ask, I can share it with you. And if there are any brothers on here that would like to share as well, then feel free to chime in. Please share this with your friends. Tell them to please chime in. I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes because Flex has got to sit down and spend time with family, friends, and the puppy. And I just want you all to know we're here every other Monday. So not next Monday, but the following Monday. And I want you all to feel free to let people know we're doing this every other Monday. And on Tuesdays, we have a Blog Talk radio show. You have to call in. And that show, you call in and we just let our hair down. We talk about anything and everything off the wall. And then on the Wednesdays, we have a sex, love, relationship Blog Talk Radio. And that's when you have to call in the telephone and you talk to us on the telephone. We don't do that on live, but we do that every other week as well. So I want you all to feel free to take part in the Realness Reality Talk Show, because here we get to talk about topics that we don't really get to talk about when it comes to the trans men community. And I want you all to feel free to ask questions pertaining to who we are as trans men. And I can only answer based on my experience and what I know of. So feel free to chime in. I'm here. That's what we're here for another 15 minutes. If anyone has any questions, please, 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 please let me know. I would love to bring you on the show and we could talk and just chit chat. As you see, we've had several other people on as well. Marcia, Aria, Michaela, anyone like to get on, please let me know. I know you're all sitting in the wings, so we're going to try to get you on if you want to get on. Wendy, if you want to get on, we can do that as well. So anyone want to get on, chime in, let me know you want to get on. I want you all to ask questions, contribute to the show. That's what we're here for. There's a conversation for community and brother to brother. So I'm going to take a water sip just in case somebody decides they want to get on live. Wendy, I'm about to put you on live if you want to come on. Let me know. Let me know. Let me say this. I was a little disappointed. Little bit disappointed. I know not many trans men were part of the house families, but there were lesbian studs that were part of house families. And Pose hurt my feelings. So I'm done with that. So let's see who's going to get on live. Marcia. It's at tick, 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 adding, tick, 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 tick. You know, we need music when we're waiting for people to hit the accept button. Do, 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 do. Hello.
There you go. What's up, man? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Wasn't sure how to do that.
So,
No, hey, I'm all right. I'm at work right now. Yeah, I happen to stumble in on your little blog here.
okay.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of people, yeah, okay. I don't know if you can hear me all
Yes,
right?
you're perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I want to commend you, man. You know, I'm proud of you. You know, I met you a couple of times down here in Indianapolis when you did a show down here.
Yeah.
Y'all like the spirit. You're good people. What I want to tell you was, I feel a little bit what you was talking about how when you was 16, 17, how you was fixing cars and just came natural to do them things. Okay, me being the oldest of 4 siblings, I have 3 sisters. I was the oldest. So I was like big brother, big sister, you know.
Right.
And not knowing who I was, but I was always tomboyish, you know. I ain't had nobody to run to, so I was fighting for the sisters as well as myself. So doing those things come naturally. I kind of at one time felt like maybe I should have been a boy, you know. I always had these real tomboyish ways. I did the marriage thing. Never dated trans, but seen some beautiful ones though. But anyway, you know, I did the marriage thing, you know, tried to live the society's so-called perfect life. Ended up having 2 daughters, and so I think in having daughters kept me a little bit from going all the way into my gayness as I am.
Right.
I am gay. I'm human. But having daughters, I had to keep some of my femininity. But I always felt that if I had a boy, like right now I work with adults with disabilities, and I always choose to work with the boys.
Right.
You know, even the bad kids I work with in the system, I work with boys. I felt like if I had boys, I probably would have went through, you know, what you're doing. I would have felt that way because I feel it. But because I had girls, I had to keep that femininity about me to raise them as ladies and divas that they are. Because both of them are lovely ladies and they're doing well as young
Right.
ladies. They know about me, their acceptance, and like I posted on your thing about the love of a mother, support. Your mama don't have a problem with it. Kind of like forget everybody else. It takes a mother to get comfortable with who you are, and she instills in you to keep forward on your
Right.
dreams and being who you are to be, who you want to be. Yeah, so you know, just want to get on here and applaud you for that.
Thank you.
And I love your little show you got.
I appreciate it. Please
no problem, man.
please stay focused with us and watch the shows. Please watch the shows with us as I'm doing these shows and share them with your friends and family. Because a lot of us don't have the chance to educate the community as men that we are today. A lot of us are invisible. A lot of us can't do lives because of job placement or because we're so busy. You know, I have the opportunity because I have all the time in the world to do that. And some of us have to work nights and we can't do that on our job. But I will say this, please share the knowledge that we extend to the community so that the community can understand we are here, we are present, and we are another part of the Black LGBT community.
Yes. Okay. All right then. Well, again, I applaud you for it. God bless. You are a child of God, regardless. You are a child. He made you. He let you get here on earth, so you have a purpose and you doing. You blessed like you are. Being 56, yeah, you's a blessed child of God. Don't nobody tell you no different.
Black don't crack, baby. Black don't crack. That's all. That's all. That's all.
I got a little bit of something here I save on the
And I applaud you as a mother that's in the community and supportive to our transgender community as well.
No, okay, I got you. I'm gonna keep following. You know, I got you. All right.
All right. Thank you, my
Okay, take care, baby.
I love you, deuces.
Love you too, bro.
You know, that makes me feel good. How's about y'all? Does it make you all feel good? I feel good too. I think everybody's feeling good now. Lean. McCoy, do you want to get on live? Look, I'm calling all you out because you're coming in. We're going to have chit chat. Remember, this is TRANSMAN space. We invite everybody to come in, talk, ask questions. We're going to defeat the truths and the myths and all that. Remember, all of these answers are based on my personal experience, not on everyone else's, because we all transition. Our journeys are different. Each and every day, we evolve differently. But our journeys of how we do it or how we transition may be similar, but each one of us experience differently. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was 16, 40 years. I'm 56. So I'm a veteran. You know, I'm like, somebody need to buy me a military jacket that says trans veteran or something on it. I don't know, something like that, just so that I could wear it, because my experience is different from someone in 2016 to 2018 on up, because we didn't have the information we had back in the day. We just didn't have the information. So now we have it. The younger generation, I will say my young generation, my youth, those are my youth, because I'm older and I'm an elder, they have the opportunity to get the information, get the assistance, and find who they are in society, to know which direction they need to go in society. I mean, we have the word non-binary, gender non-conforming community that's there. It's a whole new evolution, because people are finding out that gender and sexuality are very, very, very much fluid. It's like water coming out of a spigot. We are just a very unique group of people, very different, and we're becoming very self-sufficient in our own way as a community. You know, we're really going forward than going backwards. I keep saying, trans people today are the new evolution of mankind. Think about it. There's trans people who are marrying each other, having babies together. We are the new image of mankind. I mean, what you gonna say about that? Because as we're finding out people are non-binary and are gender non-conforming, I mean, our children are going to grow up to see gender and sexuality differently than how I was raised, to be conditioned with what society has put out there as what was supposed to be masculine, what was supposed to be feminine, what is the image of man, what is the image of woman. I mean, it's just amazing how everything is evolving. I'm just saying that. So if there's anyone that wants to get on the live, remember this is brother to brother conversation. This is trans men talking to the community, trans men who want to get on and want to talk. You all want to talk with me. This is every other Monday we're doing this. And I want you all to feel free to chime in and share this with your friends and family and talk about these topics so that you all can learn. You all have learned so much about trans women. They've been more visible than trans men. You all know that trans women go through, but how much do you know what we go through as trans men? So feel free to please, please, please share this live and invite your friends and family to the live to enjoy themselves with us here. But I really like for you all to share this and take part in this live as well. So I said I'll be another 9 minutes. I'm going to get off the air here at 10 o'clock. And as soon as I get off the air, we'll see you all next week with the Realistic Reality Talk Show live. But we'll be doing a live blog this week. I want you all to join us on our live blog, which we'll post. We will end up posting and inviting that to you all tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, so that you have that. But I want you all to understand I love you. You guys are great out there. A lot of you that support our community, I thank you. You're awesome. Your support is more than you know. Because if we didn't have the support of many of you out there, and our community is now growing slowly together again, getting their act together. Yeah, we've got some bad apples, but don't mean that bad apples going to spoil the whole batch of baskets. So we're just trying to go forward, try to give awareness, try to help people understand who we are as a community. Because I'll say this to all of you, and many of you that are watching this know this. I allow people to come inside my circle so that they can learn and understand. You may never agree with me. You may never agree with me, but that's what differences are for, so we can learn to accept the differences. And you may never agree with me, but you will always learn to accept the differences between yourself and myself. And because you accept those differences means you're learning about me, learning about yourself, learning about the world around you, and you're learning to see that your world is not just all about you. Well, sometimes it can be. Sometimes it doesn't have to be, but it can be. So anyone like to get on the live and have conversation, I want you to do so. Feel free to come through. I'm surprised no one came through to ask about trans men dating trans women. I guess somebody got scared to ask that question. Or they got scared about dating women or dating anyone of a sort. It's amazing how some of you all not asking questions when you have the opportunity. These lives that a lot of us are doing are for you all to have that opportunity to ask questions. No question is a bad question. Flex not going to beat you up for it, but what Flex is going to do is try to address it at best so that you may understand from where my point of view. So nobody has any questions. What's today? Is it payday? The first of the month, y'all came with your money. I love you. Yes, I love you for life as well, my sister. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Ari, did you want to get on? I mean, I'm quite sure you have some questions. You probably don't have any questions. We talk all the time. So everybody's so quiet. This is scary. I think some people went to bed on me. We don't have any TV shows on, so it can't be that. Saeed, you're there. Would you like to come on live? Decline. The floor is open for conversation. I might find a new friend and everybody I'm inviting tonight. I'm inviting folks I've never met before. I just know them on my page. So we're learning to love and gain. If you decline, that's fine. If not, just Except the button. All right. Nah. Sorry. Zari's gonna be here. She's lovely.
Hi, peace and
How you doing,
blessings.
sweetie?
Good evening,
Good to see
everyone.
you.
How are
Good
you?
to see you. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, what you were just talking about. Now, what is your view on trans women and trans men dating? Trans women and trans women dating, and trans men and trans men dating.
I think it's lovely.
I do too.
I think it's great. I mean, because honestly, because I'm pansexual, and the thing is, I'm getting a lot of feedback on your.
Oh,
A
I'm
lot
sorry.
of
There's
feedback.
loud in the background. I'm sorry.
Okay. um, I think it's great because it emphasizes the idea of that sexuality is fluid, and we are no longer looking at genitalia. We're looking at souls.
Exactly.
We're looking at souls. And when we're looking at souls, we're looking at the person inside, not all about outside the genitalia. And I think that's what's happened in the world is that we've been so caught up with the idea of genitalia because that's what society has taught us.
No, I completely agree. Because I have dated a trans man before. It was a beautiful experience. Um, it's just
Finding
it's
the
getting
right
over
mate.
it because it was more of me getting over that I don't like vagina aspect of
Right,
it and seeing
right.
him for the man that he was. So I think a lot of like I got more from the trans man than I do from cisgender men.
Wow.
Like
Why is that? Is it
because
because we have something?
he was able to see me for who I was, like, and treat me like the woman I treat myself as. So it made our relationship more beautiful. Yes, we
And
grew up.
could it have been also that you all have some commonality as well? So he was well more understanding to your struggle as a trans person, and you understood his as a trans person, and you
Exactly,
being
because
trans
his
woman.
sister was the one that outed me because she thought I was, outed him to me because she thought I was a cisgender woman. So, and like what we were talking about earlier with the whole family situation, I'm unapologetically me.
Right,
You don't have to accept it. I'm not looking for you to accept it because to me, love in its purest form is unconditional and that comes without any condition. So no matter if I
right,
transition or not, I'm
right,
still me. So
right,
that I kind of agreed with Michaela earlier when she was like, that I still love you. Like I had to explain to my mom when I was growing up. When you tell me you still love me, that means you lost love for an aspect of me.
right, right.
So
And that goes back to that old. I'm gonna say it. It goes back to that biblical thing,
no,
and
it
because
does because at
and
the end of
and
the day, you know,
yeah,
no matter how I present myself, my mother will always see the child she birthed.
right.
So that's why I
And
started
it's
educating my mom and my family on my transition as I'm transitioning because they
right,
need to understand that this has always been me. When you can tell me that I've always been feminine, that I used to walk around with towels on my head and dresses made from sheets and in your heels and I'm walking better than you. I've been feminine and always wanted to be the girl in every aspect of my life. Like,
right,
you can't tell me this isn't me.
right. Just
So,
just as I've always. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Since I was a kid, I was in pantsuits and all that, and my mom used to put me in. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. Y'all listen to this real quick. It was an Easter Sunday, and my mother did my hair. You know, I had curly hair, and she wanted it straight. So she did my hair, and I got a splinter in my foot because the boy and me was playing in a dress and got a splinter in my foot. Well, by the time they got the splinter out, I done sweated out my hairdo. It got back to curly afro again. I didn't have a dress to wear. I don't. She was upset. I didn't look like the little girl she dressed up. It didn't work for her, but I had to put on my little pants outfit, and I was like, "Yes, deuces, I'm good." I was good with the curly hair again and the pants. So as I got older, my school pictures, you'll see I got school pictures. I love the little cow neck shirts with the
Mm-hmm.
little pantsuit. I had like five of them. My aunt actually paid for those. My father's cousin, I called her my aunt, she knew. They knew. My father's family already knew. Something ain't right. So we're just gonna go with this flow. They knew I was comfortable without conflict.
Yeah,
Okay. So
but
they
like
always gave me, yeah, they gave me what I wanted. So because they gave me what I wanted, I was comfortable without conflict. So for me to wear pants and boys' clothes, I was comfortable with that. It wasn't that they turned me gay or turned me trans. I was comfortable beforehand. So during that whole episode of the Easter wear, my father said to my mother, next time, let the child just wear what the hell the child want to wear. Because the Easter eggs gonna be eaten tomorrow, and Easter gonna be over before you know it. And you wanted all these pictures, and it just didn't work for you. But any
yeah.
pictures you've seen of me, I have a video, a family video, and my son, my gay son here laughed. He saw it. Nothing but a boy playing with the boys.
No, I
And
completely
I
understand.
knew, and I knew in my heart when I said to my mother one day, I said, "You do not treat me like you treat my brother. How come is that?" I said it. How come is that? And it makes sense when I said it to her. She said, "Because you are a girl." I said, "Okay, but you treat me different than him." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You treat me different than him." I knew what it meant because all my life I kept trying to figure out why is she treating me different than him. So I'm younger, but she's treating me different than him. And my brother to this day, I'm gonna make y'all laugh. I'm gonna tell it. He caught me in the house with my neighbor doing a little bit. You know how we explore when we kids, baby. He wasn't
Goosing.
on me. Look, he wasn't on me. I was on him. Okay. And my brother said, "What you doing?" I said, "Uh, I'm gonna tell on you because I saw you and your girlfriend too." I said, "I was doing what you was doing." He said, "Oh no, no, no. I'm gonna tell mom." I said, "You tell her. I'm gonna tell what you did." So we had something on each other for years. We don't even talk about it because if I did, I'll remind my brother. Remember, I was the one on top.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me the Barbie doll and Ken and Christy and the black Barbie doll. You know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about? Okay, I was fixing Barbie's uh, camper. I was fixing her car. I wouldn't even play with Barbie. I was putting G.I. Joe in Barbie's car. I mean, come on. I didn't even want Barbie. Barbie wasn't even in the category. So I knew who I was, and my father knew who I was. When I asked for a bicycle, my mother said, "Don't bring that child no blue bike." So he brought me a purple bike. Who buys their child a purple bike?
Exactly.
It
No, but
wasn't pink.
that's why I'm so like I was so grateful for my grandmother. My grandmother was the first person I talked to about my whole experience and who truly accepted me. And her nickname for me was Big Booty Judy. That's
Right.
always that's always been my nickname since I was little. Big Booty Judy. That's what she called me. So like she embraced my femininity and she taught me the aspects of a woman. And I respect and I miss her to this day. You know, I've lost her like what 2 years now. So I miss her to this day because if it wasn't for her, it would be harder on acceptance from my family. But because she was the matriarch of my family and she accepted me wholeheartedly for who I was, it made me transitioning with my family easier.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened with me. My grandmother was still living when I really started doing the medical side of it. And I felt like my grandmother loved me, my aunt loved me for me, and my grandfather loved me for me, and my father loved me for me. My mom was hard because I am her child. And in her mindset, she birthed a girl. She will tell you to this day she knew what came out of her. God gave her a
Exactly.
girl.
Like
And I kept saying, I said,
I
no,
knew.
God gave you a snake because this snake was shedding some skin, and this is the last bit of the skin you're gonna see right here.
Yeah, like
So,
cause my mom now she calls me her Dawson. So
uh,
she's coming around because when I first initially wanted to transition at 12, she told me everything I had swings. So and she found a closet full of girl clothes. Luckily, my grandmother let me keep all my girl clothes at her house. So like it's like basically my grandmother's house was my safe haven where I can
right,
truly be me and not have to worry about nobody judging me or
right,
looking down on me. Like
right,
like that's why I'm a big advocate for transitioning with your family. Like you have to transition their mindset just as much as you have to transition your own.
right. You can't be selfish about it and expect them to accept the process. You have to work with them.
And
And
then
like,
you have to give them time to mourn you because
yes,
that aspect of you has
yes.
died.
You say that, but as a trans man, I had to mourn the body. I had to mourn the girl that I was. I had to mourn that person. I had to realize that she was now he, and now we. I'm
But that
we.
comes with soul searching, and that's like
Yes,
that comes with the territory of transition and
yes,
understanding yourself sexually. I identified as a gay male because society told me that's who I was, even though I felt like a woman sleeping with men. And gay men would tell me as a gay male that sleeping with me was just like sleeping with a woman, so they didn't like sleeping with me.
ooh,
So I already knew who I was. It's just society told me that's who I had to be because of the body I was born in. That was before I
right,
found out about the whole transsexual, transgender aspect of life. Because at first I'm a woman born in a male body, and that's what I've
right,
always told people. You ask me what I am, I'm a woman. I was just born in a male body. So
right,
you know, it's it was me educating myself and re-educating other people about me, and then I can show people where none of my journey has been fake. This has always been me.
right,
Because that's how I can have like my cisgender sisters are the ones who pushed me to start my actual medical side of my transition.
right.
Because they were like, "You're a woman, so why not embody one?" So
Awesome. And that's what happens with us is that when we find young trans men on that journey, we hold on to them to guide them because we don't want them to be misled. A lot of people don't understand that testosterone can kill you. Doing estrogen pills wrong can kill you.
no,
It all
exactly,
of
and
it,
that's what stopped me from doing the medical side of it for so long is because all the studies I read about how it raises your uh, cholesterol, high blood pressure, you have certain risks for cancers, and it's like that part scared me because I was like, okay, like I want this. Don't get me wrong. I want this for myself. I want the body I feel I deserve or I should have, but I don't want to kill myself to get to that point.
right, right. And that's why my journey has taken so long. And that's one reason why when people say, well, you just had your top surgery, I didn't rush it because I will say this. I love me so much that the body wasn't really the concern. It was me. When you
Exactly.
love your inner spirit, your body will evolve with you, and you're not rushing to do
No,
what
but
you need to
then
do.
like I had the blessing of talking to an endocrinologist and getting my blood work, and then according
Right.
to him, he told me to consider myself intersex because I have two X chromosomes and a Y chromosome. I produce
And
estrogen
I
and
think there's
I produce
I think
estrogen
there's
and testosterone. I just produce more
I think
estrogen.
I think there's more of us that are intersex because as time went on and they did my endocrinology chart, he said, "Have you always been malish, look, masculine?" And I said, "Yeah." And I showed him pictures of my baby picture, and he's like, "Were you a bald baby?" I said, "Yeah." And I'm going out, now I'm going out bald again. I was like, "Yeah, I came in bald, and I don't know." And he said, "You have more male features than an androgynous woman." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And as time went on, if you looked at my pictures, you would say I was more boy than I was girl because I don't have hips. Let me tell y'all, I don't have any hips. All I had was butt when I got fat, but now I lost the butt. I still don't have hips. And most born women have hips. I don't have hips. That's part of the problem why some trans women are like, "You can't be trans," because they're looking at my hips. And I'm looking at them like, I'm a trans man. And they're like, "You look good for a trans man." And one trans woman said to me, and it was funny, and she was with her cisgendered sister. They both said, "You don't have no hips." Because most men don't have hips. They got belly and ass.
Because
So,
it's just like I said earlier, I like your conversations because it gives us a chance to understand the trans man and his experience, and I think that is very important for the community because we don't really hear about them.
no.
And the
And
trans
you
men
need
I
to.
have had the pleasure of meeting in person are very secretive and live stealth lives. Like, so you wouldn't know their experience or their journey, and most of them don't like to talk about it. And it's refreshing to see a trans man living in his truth and open about it. Just like you have a lot of trans women who have had their SRS surgeries that are stealth, that stay away from the community because it's like, I moved past that. But sometimes we have to understand that no matter where we are in our journeys, we still need to help people understand how we got to this point and why we got to this point.
Yeah, because when people say to me, "You look good for your age," like, "You look good, you look good." Well, I can tell you how I did it, but I think a lot of it was finding my inner self, being at peace with myself, being humble and stress free,
Exactly.
and loving me. I'll tell y'all, I love me to death. I'm so picky about who I date, who I tolerate. I really am selfish for me, but I have to be because no one else will do it for me. I'm responsible for my well-being, my health, my wellness, and my sanity, my sanity. And because of that, I have to take care of me.
Okay.
And that's
I
what I
have
tell
one
other
quick question.
friends.
What do
Yeah,
you think would be the best way to bridge the gap between our trans sisters and our trans brothers?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Communication, a lot of good, positive communication, and when you get brothers and sisters in a positive mode, they work together. But you got to have positive communication and brothers and sisters that want that gap to be bridged. And I really think a lot of it too is now that we're dating trans women, I think that's going to help the gap as well a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of the times it just be trans women because most of us come from the heterosexual mind state.
Right.
That's so, and vice versa with trans men also. We get caught up in, okay, that's really when we're basically disrespecting our own journey.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that's what I think most people who like I have been looked at funny because I said I will openly date a trans man. I will openly date a trans woman.
Right.
It's not always sexual for me because I'm
Right.
more of a sapiosexual, but I like the experience of somebody who can truly relate to me. and
Yeah, because
understand where I have been through in my growth and my journey and where I want to be.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna admit this on my live. The older I'm getting, the more I yearn to want to date a trans woman. Why? I love my cisgendered ladies, but cisgendered ladies, as a trans man, you lack to understand my journey. You lack to understand my safety. You lack to understand my needs as a trans person. Not all, but some. And I find myself giving 100% to a cisgendered mate, and I'm getting nothing. I'm bored, and sexually, I'm bored. I'm just being honest, because now you're with me. You have this image of a cisgendered man, or the image that you've been brought up with. The problem that we have in a lot of relationships is that sometimes whatever trauma somebody is dealing with constantly, they can
Mhm.
carry it into any relationship.
True.
It doesn't matter what gender, whatever. It's a person. And I found me dating cisgendered women, a lot of them, and these are just my experience. The ones I've dated, several, not all, have always had this trauma towards men. So why you dating me? Because I'm not gonna deal with the trauma of me cheating on them, or the trauma of me uh, lying to them, or the trauma of whatever with the craziness might be. But when I give you a poker game and my hands are open and you see what my hands look like, you can win at this game. But you refuse to see the truth and the honesty because you've been denied that. So you don't realize what honesty and truth is when it comes to your plate. That's a lot of people in relationships, period. So we have to understand that we as people in this world, human beings, have to understand when someone's transparent, they have just opened up a floodgate for you to look at and make the opportunity of saying, is this for me or not? I think for some cisgender women, they get involved with trans men, and some trans women get involved with trans men as the next best thing to better than what they've been dealing with when it comes to men. But sometimes it's not the men, it's the trauma that they carry over into the relationship.
Oh, exactly. No, but
And
that's why
I'm not,
I'm a big
yeah,
advocate for.
and I'm not I'm not I can't be a woman, I can't be my mate's savior, but I can be her co-worker.
I completely agree.
So for me, I'm not interested in dating cisgender women at this point in my life because I've done it for so long. I've dated gay men for so long. I've dated men for so long. My interest is trans women because I feel I have this emotional attachment to trans women. I think it's a positive thing for me because should I meet the right trans woman, I think my relationship with any trans woman that's perfect for me, because nobody's ever perfect, but it'll be perfect for me. It would be like a blooming onion, just a whole bunch of flowers right behind it. I'm just saying, because we would both be so transparent
We can
that
live
there's no
completely in our
question.
truth
Right.
and not have to worry about the judgment or the lack of understanding of your journey. Um,
I mean, I've had three trans women out of state. So anybody watching in North Carolina, it wasn't somebody in state, out of state that were interested in me. Yes, they were working girls, and I understood that. Yes, but see, I've dated strippers back in my day too. So I knew what I would have to deal with. So they were comfortable, each one, as we got to know each other, they were comfortable to date me because I understood. And they said, "You don't mind?" I said, "Well, I dated strippers, so to me, what's the difference?"
exactly. As long as you're protecting yourself, you're good.
Right, right. You know,
But you know,
so
yes. Now, what you were gonna say?
so for me to date a trans woman, I think for me to be in a relationship with a trans woman, we're the next generation of mankind. Can I have children? No. Can we adopt? Yeah. I don't care if I'm an old man adopting kids. I know Moses had, how old was Moses when he had his babies? And Joseph was old as dirt too. So that's all I got to say.
Exactly. but you know, like I tell people, it's just remembering what the beauty of experiencing human life is, and that's to embrace each other's differences and to be inspired by each other.
Right.
Like I tell
So
any
right.
cisgender person that I meet, trans people are a reflection of oneness in the universe. We show
Right.
y'all there is oneness in the universe, period. So that's what our expression teaches you. Oneness, knowing thyself. You know, people always say we are not our bodies, but they don't truly believe that.
That's true. That's so true. So real. So real. And that's why I believe with the trans men, as we're evolving, we slowly can start opening up where we're comfortable in our lives to open up.
But it's all like, even with my trans sisters, like when me and Michaela were on live yesterday, and we were talking about when should you tell somebody of your transness. I feel you shouldn't have to tell anyone unless you plan on being intimate with that person.
Correct.
So,
because as a trans man, if I'm going to be intimate with someone, I want them to know what as they come up the bat, what they get ready to swing at. Because
exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I have cisgender men, gay men too. I'll get them all. Hit me up, and oh, I'm interested. And I tell them if it's about sex, we ain't going there. I mean, I'm honest. We're not going there. I don't know you like that, and
I'm
I'm
very much the
honest.
same way.
Right. So, because you could be carrying something out, and you know me, ain't gonna do that to me. So, um, my thing is, I'm just honest and true, and I honest want people to know you gonna jump up to the mat with his bat, get ready to swing, because I'm giving it to you. I'm letting you know what's coming to you. And you're gonna have to take that choice or not. And I know that when people come to me, I ask questions. I want to know what the situation is before I start swinging. If I start swinging and I don't know, keep it with, how you a pitcher hit you with the ball all the time, you'd be like, well, that's a little bit too much for me. So I just, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just me. I'm just up forward. I'm transparent, and I am who I am. And my experiences, I like to share with people because it allows people to see me in a different light and allow them to know that my journey is not like some other trans man out there that's had a journey. We're not all, we're not all the same. You know, a lot of us are different. I open my mouth and let it out. Some don't. Some are very reserved. Some aren't reserved. Some are comfortable where they are in their lives. Do I judge them? No, because they're my brothers. Now, do I judge white boys, the white trans men? I don't mean to say white boys, white trans men? No, they're brothers too. But I will say this: white trans men that know the truth know they are privileged men. They know that, and they have said that. Many of them have admittedly said that in some lives that I've been in with me. So do I hate them for their privilege? No. But I will say to them, like I'll tell white trans women, you need to allow your privilege to carry the whole complete trans women community, as I ask trans men that are Caucasian to do the same. Will they do it? Nope. 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 But
Most
then
people don't want to
again,
sacrifice their comfortability.
no. And then you have to remember, you the apple doesn't fall from the tree. So if you're taught something one way, yes, I went there on white people, white Caucasian persuasion with privileged individuals. I will say this: they actually learned from falling from that tree. So if they know their daddy, uncle, someone has privilege, they're going to continue to go forward and will end up practicing. Not all white trans men, but some will still practice what their own community is allowing them to do and what they've been doing.
Oh, yes. No, because, it's like prevalent even on dating sites. Like, you see, like, white trans men and trans women who say they do not date black, or they don't date Hispanics, or they don't date
Right.
Asians. They don't like. At the end of the day, you can't limit yourself to who you fall in love with. To me, like,
Right.
yes, I would prefer to be with somebody of my own ethnicity, but if
Right.
I fall in love with a person of another ethnicity, I'm perfectly fine with that. They're
Right.
perfect for me. But
Right.
I don't close myself off to love, but I know what I would prefer.
Right. Right. And that's me. I'm very diverse and very all inclusive. So I date all races. I do say that. I date all races. But if I find someone that's very fitting for me, no matter the race or ethnicity, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. Because to me, color is just the skin. I mean, skin is just a color.
You know, and there's messed up people in every race. So, it's it's like,
It is, yeah, it
so you
is.
can't really, but at the end of the day, I like the fact that we're having these conversations. I like the fact that you're bringing light to the trans man experience. I wish it was more trans brothers that were willing to come on here, and share their experience, and, you know, but I understand.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's okay because, I always say, there's always somebody that's going to open the door, and maybe 6 weeks later, somebody's going to end up doing a live again. And it's like the girls when they started doing lives, it was one at a time, and somebody else picked it up. Now we got you all flooding the floodgates of Facebook, and Facebook keeps booting you all off because they tired of y'all, and so we got to take over now.
No, but like, no, but like I tell people, we need to get out of this trans cis mindset and just
Right,
look at what we need to do to respect each other as just humans. You don't have
right,
to agree with my experience. I'm not asking you to. All I ask of you is to give me a chance to understand me. Because if you understand me, you'll see that nothing I'm presenting is fake, and I'm not living in a delusion of who I say I am. This is me.
right,
So,
right.
you know, it just is what it is.
So that's why I don't mind doing these lives. I don't mind my blog talk has been 2 years, and we do this stuff because it's awareness. It allows people to step in the arena in that circle. Sometimes you have to leave a gap in a circle for those that are part of that community to come in and sneak in and stand in the shadows and watch and listen and learn because what they learn, they tend to take back to others and
But
educate them.
education is the biggest thing we can give, is to give people the chance to really get to know us as people, to
Right,
see through our physicalities and see us on a spiritual, mental, and emotional level. Like,
right.
we can't always just go for everything face value.
You're right, because face value is what you see. It's more beyond the face and the value. I tell everybody, my face is what you see. There's more value underneath the face. But you're valuing me by what you see. You can't, it's like earth, it's like the ground. For example, when they pump for for oil, and they pump, 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 pump for oil, they see the land, they know there's value there for what they see. But when they pump for oil, there's more value underneath that dirt. Okay?
Exactly.
So when it comes to individuals on this earth, we have to acknowledge the inner side of that person, the internal, the deep down in here is so much valuable than what you see. And I always say you can't judge a book by its cover.
You
And I
can't.
say that because I have several interview people that I've mentored. And if I was to go by what I saw and throw them at the wayside like many others have done, then they would definitely be at the wayside. But because of what I saw, I knew there was value and I enhanced their value to be a better person today. Am I bragging? Yeah, I am. But I could do that at 56.
Exactly. And you look good for 56.
Thank you.
So,
I told somebody I was 60. They're like, no, you're not. I said, I'm 60 and I'm 32. They're like, no, you're 56. Baby, I'm trying to jack my age up because I'm feeling good now. Feeling real good. I figure if I look good at 56, I'm going to look better at 60.
well, me and you
That's
talked
only
about this
4
before.
years.
We
That's
lived it for
only
a long
4
time.
years.
Because I told you I'm getting 624.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to beat you. I'm going to have to get you with 925.
But yes. But, I just want to just encourage you and empower you to just keep doing your work. I respect a brother like you.
Thank you.
You see our issues, and I really would like to learn more about the TRANSMAN.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but I'm still here. So, folks, I thank you all for coming on the live that came on. I know I froze, Ari. I don't know what happened. Just it froze like it was done. So tonight I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for coming on live. Ari, I thank you for live. Michaela, Jocelyn, TW, and whoever, what was her name? I forgot her name. She came on earlier. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. I apologize. Marcia came on live. All of you that come on live. And remember, we'll be doing these lives more often, and they will be TRANSMAN space, brother to brother. And Jordan, if you want to come on before I close out to chime in, let me know. Let me know right now before I chime out. But while I'm speaking, just let me know. This is our TRANSMAN space because many of you know more about the girls and what they've shared and all the information they put out there. But this is time for you to get to know us on a different light. And okay, next time, Jordan, we'll do it next time. And this way, from my experience, I can share some things with you and hope that other trans men of color and of Caucasian persuasion and all ethnicities can come in and chime in and share for you all the truths and erase the myths so that we can learn to empower the world with knowledge and reality of who we are. So remember, this is the Reality and Realness talk show. I'm your host, Mr. Flex Jones, with all the friends and family that came on today. And this is our brother to brother conversation that we have every other Monday for you all to come in. It's a TRANSMAN space. And as you saw the disclaimer, we invite many of you to come in and chime in and talk and take part of this. So I would like to say to many of you, I am 30 minutes out. I was supposed to be done at 10 o'clock. So have a great night. I look forward to seeing y'all 2 weeks from now and having a blast with you all because I love you like that. So guess what? I'm out of here. Deuces, y'all.